Goodness gracious, what a sports weekend that was, huh? My word. Lonzo, I had 6 screens working in the living room Saturday night, and I needed one more.
Just want to point out what a braggart does. A braggart takes a picture of all of his screens and he throws it up online and says, "Look at me." No, it's pretty awesome.
Haters gonna hate.
It is.
I had 2 TVs, 2 laptops, 2 phones going, and I still almost went and got the last TV out. I still almost went to the man cave and brought the 75-incher to sit out on the floor.
My son was like, "Dad, you could do that, right?" It's like, "Yeah, if I wanted to." Yeah, I could do that.
I only didn't because I don't want to. I was very pleased with Saturday evening in the Casa de Love.
Tell me you had some sort of hover chair,
No, we're just on the couch.
Professor X hover chair, so you could just
That's the next upgrade.
Just move your head a little to the right, and your chair will move,
Yep.
so you can. Yeah,
that's the next upgrade. The next upgrade is a swiveling hover chair. We had South Carolina Vandy, Clemson Notre Dame, FSU Miami, LSU Alabama, the World Series. What else was on Saturday night? I don't even remember. There was that much. Like I know I had 6 TVs going and I needed one more. It was spectacular.
Did you mention the Clemson loss Saturday night? That was on.
Yes, I mentioned that they played Notre Dame.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. I believe the
hashtag all in
term that we use for that performance is woof.
Hashtag all in.
Woof.
Hashtag all in.
That was not good. That was not good. Clemson looked awful. Opening 8 drives, 6 punts, a pick, and a kneel down to end the half. Down, what was it, 21 at half? Yikes. Talk about that coming up here in just a little while. Texter jumps in and says on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, "Fan, I am here strictly for Clemson hate speech."
Hashtag all in.
Whatever it takes to get you here on the show. Oh, yeah, that's right, Brandon. It was Atlanta beating my Pelicans. By the way, you want to know how good Saturday night was for sports? That game was in the ATL, right? And my goal has been whenever New Orleans plays at Charlotte or at Atlanta to go. Both of them inside a 2-hour trip for me. My goal this year was every time the Pels play in the Queen City or over in Atlanta to be there. And Saturday morning, I had a buddy Saturday morning text and be like, "Dude, you want to go to Atlanta? Big Z and the Pels are playing Trey. Do we want to go watch New Orleans v. Atlanta?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." There was just too much going on Saturday night to go, right? It's college football was at its peak Saturday. World Series Game 6 became an elimination game. There was just too much going on to justify leaving to go to the ATL and missing all of it. So I watched that game on one of the screens as well. And it turned out to be a hell of a game. OT game. Wish I would have gone. But LSU upsetting Bama. Notre Dame upsetting Clemson.
Hashtag all in.
Vanderbilt deciding to storm back and put a little bit of a scare late into the Gamecocks. Houston finishes off the World Series. And by the way, all of that comes after one of the greatest club football matches I've ever watched when LAFC downed Philly in the MLS Cup final earlier on Saturday, which, by the way, if you thought you had a bad day on Saturday because your team lost a regular season game, imagine ending Saturday as a Philadelphia sports fan. You lose the MLS Cup early in the day. Philly had a 3-2 lead in that game with minutes, not even like a minute left to play in extra time. And Gareth Bale, the hero of Wales, steps in and knocks through a header to send it to penalty kicks. And LAFC's goalkeeper, a backup, by the way, because their initial kicker broke his leg and got sent off on a red card on the same play. insult to injury. Their backup keeper steps in and stops 3 consecutive PKs. Philly loses the MLS Cup. And then hours later, the Phillies gets bounced from the World Series. So whatever day you thought you had Saturday, oh no, my team lost a regular season game. Uh-oh. Philly lost, Lonzo, not 1, but 2 major professional sports championships in the same day. In the same day.
They're really mean people. They deserve it.
I mean, I'm not anti that. I've been to Philly. The city of brotherly, I'll kick your ass, is what it should be called. Doesn't ring as well on the t-shirts, but it's probably more fitting. Hey, there's Kevin showing up. JA17 MVP, 5 question marks, WTH, SMH. Yeah, you could have thrown a WTF in there. Josh Allen, and the Bills went from, oh man, they're going to go toe-to-toe with KC through the AFC to the Jets. By the way, the Jets are no joke. The Jets ain't no joke. Best start since what, 2010 for the New York Football Jets? Not the worst loss in the world. Certainly not a great one either. We'll talk about that. We hadn't even talked about Georgia, Tennessee yet. My goodness. The Dogs. Sick them.
Wow, man. Tennessee got us for a moment.
They really had us.
They got us.
We all believed. We was like, oh, Tennessee
we did.
back.
We did. They got us.
Woo.
That's on us. They got us.
I fell for it. Tennessee was like a stage magician. Like during the show, you're like, damn, this guy really is magic. And then they make that one mistake where they show you, oh, the back of the cards are black and they match with the curtain. That's how he did it. And then the magic is gone. The illusion is realized, and you'll never look the same way. Let me just say real quick, Tennessee is still really good, okay? Tennessee is still really good. But I tried to tell you, I picked Georgia to win that game. I just thought Tennessee would make it close. Georgia was at, what were they, an 8.5-point favorite in that game? Yeah, 8.5-point favorites. I was like, Tennessee will be inside of 8.5. They won't win. Georgia's good. I don't know what it is that, like I said, Georgia was going to win that game. They were always going to win that game. I just thought Tennessee would make it close enough that at the end of the year, we would have a discussion about, can Tennessee, non-SEC East champions with a Bama loss, which they got, maybe sneak their way back into the playoffs? And the answer is now, no. You had your crack at a playoff team, and you got lit the bleep up.
You know what's really cool about hypotheticals, even though some shows don't do them, is when you do a hypothetical and then a ton of the things that you hypothetically talked about just happened Saturday. So then, a show like this, we're prepared for the aftermath, whereas other places are probably shocked.
I done tried to tell y'all. I done tried to tell y'all the Georgia Bulldogs ain't no joke. Stetson Bennett IV, a dude that last year Georgia fans were trying to get gone, right? Stetson Bennett, you heard the story. We talked about the story early Friday that Stetson got T-bowed, right? Some Tennessee fans found his phone number, put it out on the internet, and Stet's phone got blowed up, right? And what did he do after he ran in a 22-yard touchdown where he got untouched until he was crossing the goal line? He came up throwing the phone up. Call me after that, y'all. I volunteer y'all to call me now. I got a new rule in sports gambling, Lonzo. If a college football quarterback gets their phone published on the internet, go ahead and bet the farm on that guy to go demo job on Saturday. Happened to Tebow. Tebow killed a dude. Happened to Stet. Stet killed a dude. RLB and Stet 4. All the wiggle, none of the jiggle. Love that kid. Love that kid, man. I'm going to go ahead and say the Georgia Bulldogs are for real. And while we're on it, I probably would not sleep on those Buckeyes either. There's a lot of folks that are going, wait a minute. Ohio State only put up 21 on Northwestern. Hey, you go outside and try to throw the football in the middle of a hurricane. Tell me how that goes.
They made adjustments and ran the ball. They found a thick guy. They found the thick guy on the team and said, hey, thick guy, come here. Here's the ball. Run it.
I will say this, though. Rain, storm, wind, whatever you want to call it, 10 of 26 for 76 yards is not a great look for C.J. Stroud on paper. Not a great look for C.J. 10 of 10 of 25, 10 of 26, 76 yards, no touches, no picks. It's not a good look, but they did go for 207 on the ground.
The funny part is I saw a bunch of comments on Twitter about how bad it was. None of those people actually watched the game to see what they were having to deal with.
Oh, it was ugly weather.
Yeah. It was. I love that part of football. I know you don't, but it also, of course you get some luck involved, but also your coaching comes out then. You have to make the adjustments. You find out how good of a team you have. Do you have a team built to adjust to whatever's thrown at you?
Let me put it this way. Dig these stat comparisons between the Buckeyes at number 2 and Northwestern, right? 21-7 your final score. C.J. Stroud, 10 completions, 76 yards, no touches, no picks. Brennan Sullivan for Northwestern, 10 completions, 79 yards, no touch, no picks, right? How about on the ground? Mayan Williams for Ohio State, 26 carries, $111, 2 touchdowns. Evan Hull for Northwestern, 30 carries, 122, and a touch on the ground. Team rushing, Ohio State, 207, Northwestern, 206. Through the air, Ohio State, 76 receiving yards, Northwestern, 79 receiving yards. The difference in this game was that Northwestern had a fumble that was turned over. And then Ohio State defensively just was able to limit them, right? The only difference was Ohio State had the ball more. That's it. They had the ball more, which is what good teams do in this scenario. We know it's an ugly game. We know the weather sucks. We know the wind is gross. We know the rain is gross on and off. What can you do? The only answer is hang on to the ball. Have extended possessions. Make them go panic a little bit, and that's exactly what Ohio State did, and it was good enough. By the way, Northwestern scored first in this football game. They scored with around 7 minutes left in the first quarter, and they did not sniff the end zone again. Ohio State went on those longer, sustained drives. Would you guys rush the ball almost 40 times in that game?
Yeah, it was like old school Big Ten.
It was old school Big Ten. Don't get me wrong, old school Big Ten does not win you playoff games, but you know what it does win you? Big Ten games.
It will also win you a Hurricane game.
Yeah.
It will also win you an ACC game.
Clemson. What? You're
supposed to say Clemson 3 times. It's a Dabo thing.
Clemson. Clemson gets rocked by Notre Dame. I mean, rocked. On the same field where Marshall won. Listen, how many times do I say every single season? Don't get fooled by the transitive property of college football. A beats B, B beats C does not mean A beats C. It's not how it works. But A in this case was Marshall, the Thundering Herd. We are. That's rough, man. That's rough for Clemson. DJ did not look good again. I got to tell you, and by the way, as potentially alongside Zoe, the only non-orange colored radio dude in the upstate that said preseason, I think DJ's got a chance to take a step forward here. Bad DJ is back. He was indecisive. He was slow delivering the football. The mechanics have reset themselves, right? That was one thing that changed was last year. He had, who's wind up at 3S? Tim Tebow's. He drops the ball to the hip. It's a long arcing motion, and he lets go of the ball well out past where a quarterback should. At the beginning of this year, he got rid of that. The ball went from being held up front directly over the shoulder in a quick release. Now he's gone back to that long arcing release. Bad DJ's back. I don't know what happened. The Syracuse game, he faced some adversity. They won the game, but he faced some adversity, and he has not been the same since then.
I disagree with you to a certain level. I think a lot of that had to do with none of his receivers being open, and he had nowhere to throw it. So you got to hang on to it when no one's open. So you're trying to decide, I don't want to throw an interception, which I don't believe he threw an interception. So you're hanging on to the ball because no one's open. So the delivery you don't have to worry about because he didn't throw the ball that much because no one was open. And what I heard, I thought I heard it right here, was that Clemson was a running team now.
He did, by the way. He threw one pick,
did
as
he?
did Cade Klubnik.
Oh, okay.
Klubnik 0 for 1,
Yeah.
1 interception.
Yeah, that one's the more significant one.
Yeah, because you could hear the entire Clemson fan base go, "Uh-oh, that was supposed to be our savior." Uh-oh.
The best thing was he was in for a series. It comes out and Jason Garrett is like, well, when he goes back in, and then it went silent on the broadcast because he realized that
Yeah, what's he going to say?
that they took Cade back out and put DJ back in. And I mean, that kind of pause will cause alarms to go off and stuff.
DJ 27 of 39, 191, a touch and a pick. QBR of 34 on the day. Drew Pine, on the other hand, 9 of 17, 1 touch, no picks, and a 53.
Didn't DJ like have a 0 like at halftime or something? Maybe I'm forgetting. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I didn't see the exact stat, but I wouldn't bank against it.
I don't blame this on him. I don't. I do blame the Cade thing on the crowd though. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Let's start with this. If you want to blame anybody, blame Clemson's defense.
Hashtag
263 on the ground, surrendered in Notre Dame. Logan Diggs, 17 carries for $114, averaged 6.7 yards per carry. Audric Estime, 18 carries, 104 on the ground, and a touch. And there were 2 other players that got up over 20 yards rushing, including the QB.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to do. I was going to point out that DJ doesn't play defense. There is a number 5 on defense, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't him. He also doesn't play special teams. I don't think he was a kicker who got the kick blocked. Everyone blames everything on him. Maybe blame the fact that Brent Venables isn't there anymore and the defense is not as good as it used to be. Maybe blame the fact that the receivers are not getting open. There's a lot of things to blame. It's the decline of a mini dynasty. It may seem like I'm taking pleasure in it because I am. And hashtag all in.
I was told that this defense was going to be historic. I was told that this defense was going to rewrite record books. I was told I don't need any of that. I just need the defense to be good. And when you give up 263 on the ground, that's not good.
By the way, no disrespect to our guys on the stream, to some of them are Clemson fans who are here all the time. When I'm making fun of Clemson, I'm not making fun of you, but I am making fun of all the guys who've already put the flags away, already put all their Clemson magnets away, already going, you know what? I don't think we're going to be able to make it because of the economy Saturday. We got there's a cornhole tournament over here. We're going to go over there.
Sir, cornhole tournaments are a blast, all right? They're a blast.
Better than the Clemson game. Hashtag all in.
All right. We got a lot of that we are going to be getting into over the course of the show. Brandon said, didn't watch a second of the Clemson game. What happened? ? Notre Dame was running up and down the field like a steam engine. Let me say this. Based on what I saw Saturday, Clemson at Notre Dame, Clemson at South Carolina. South Carolina at Vanderbilt. I'm going to go ahead and get myself in trouble at the home life. All right? But I do it for your entertainment. If those 2 teams play this weekend, Clemson wins by 24. If Clemson and South Carolina play each other this weekend, Clemson wins by 24.
Probably.
So before the South Carolina fans get up in here, because you beat Vandy.
That's not bad.
You beat Vandy.
I
I learned it from Hook.
I don't know why you're comparing the two. Because why did you bring up South Carolina when we were talking about Clemson?
I'll tell you why.
You're falling into that
No,
little
hold up,
trap.
hold
You're
up,
falling into it,
hold
man.
up. Because half of the comments into the show this morning on the text and on the stream are Gamecocks fans telling me I'm here for the Clemson hate.
How do you know that?
I'm reading them. They're on a screen.
You're missing the point. Unless they're like Gamecock Willie or USC Joe or whatever. How do you know they're Gamecock fans? You can tell what Clemson fans are. I'm just wondering what the tell for Gamecock fans are.
For this one, bleep Bama, bleep Carolina, bleep Ohio State. I am strictly here to listen to Clemson disparagement for 3 hours. Is that too much to ask? Listen, I've told you guys. Here's one texter. I am here strictly for Clemson hate speech.
Listen, we don't do hate speech here. #all-in. So
Nolan.
we're not going to do it all day. #all-in.
Nolan, I am also here for Clemson slander when you get around to it.
I don't recall. I see everything that you're saying. That they're not saying they're Gamecock fans.
That's true. I have said many, many times that outside of South Carolina, everybody hates Clemson, and you guys should not care about it. You shouldn't care about it. But
these could be all Ohio State fans laughing. They absolutely could be.
I would be careful, Buckeye fans, because while we're doing hypotheticals here on the show, I'll take Georgia over Ohio State by 14.
Ohio State still has to get past Michigan. But you know where Ohio State will be that Clemson won't be? The playoffs.
I'm gonna
if they beat Michigan.
I'm gonna just let Lonzo do the show, and I'm gonna go move my car away from Lonzo's just in case.
Oh crap, TJ.
James said, "I don't even like college football. I'm a baseball guy now." James checking in for World Series talk on the show today.
I'm curious if you are a show that's centered around one team, and that team has a bad showing like it did. Will you change your entire format and maybe talk NFL? Would you do that?
Don't get on our territory.
Yeah, we own that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. When we come back, here's the thing. My show prep right now is just a bunch of links all jammed into each other.
Yeah, because you haven't even talked about Burns upsetting Hillcrest.
Haven't talked about Burns knocking off Hillcrest on the road. They're moving on to round number 2. They are over at Blythewood, which is north of Columbia. Got a little roadie scheduled for me on Friday.
Where is that again?
North of Columbia.
No. What was the name?
Blythewood?
No, it's Blythewood, I think.
Blythewood.
If it's Blythewood, I'm just trying to help.
I think it is.
I was wondering where that S came in. Like Clemson or Clemson.
I got a lot of I got a lot of game tape to break down this week is all I'm saying. I won't be leaving the computer the majority of this week.
Good. I mean, good job, Friday Night Burns. And haven't even touched on our territory and all the things that went down yesterday.
All right. So
Josh Allen.
We got Josh Allen getting beat by the Jets. Patrick Mahomes winning in overtime with a 2-point clutch conversion. It's going to be a busy day. We're taking breaks for commercials, but we're not taking breaks. Lonzo Robbie, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. All right, stream got to read. Stay right there. We shall return very briefly.
You know, in Rob's defense, Luke, you're absolutely right. He is starting to do that. But Blythewood is not exactly a normal school that you hear about or that he's heard about yet. So it's his first season. I got to look it up and make sure that that's actually who it is. He could have just butchered it really bad and it might not
No,
be.
Blythewood, you're right.
Is it Blythewood? Okay. I forget where Blythewood is. I think I might have been there before, but I forget where it is.
I saw the World Series is over. Joe said if you wanted 3 hours of Clemson slander, should have watched the game at my house. That's a Clemson guy, by the way.
And I also want to point out that I don't think there's been any slander here. There's only accurate reporting of the facts and what happened with a little opinion mixed in. It's not really slander. Trey, you can't really answer that question because they're gonna win some other games. You'll see. I don't think they stay in the position that they're in right now. Unless the defense plays like it did yesterday.
Oh, that was so terrible.
If it does, then
So
you know.
bad.
They'll help you find the best color combinations with slacks, shirts, polo suits, and so much more. There's nothing quite like surprising your sweetheart with a new get-up that has you looking your best.
Wonder what happens at what age, I'm sure it's different for everybody, where you reach that point where you just say everything that pops into your mind. Because I still have restraint intact, and at some point that's going to go away. And so will my radio career at that point, probably. But it'd be a fun burnout at the end, probably. Oh, Nolan, hashtag all in. You can't even come close to hashtag all in. How many times I'm going to say that today? Will you? No, you won't. Harley in the next break.
10-4. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. I expect hefty crowd participation on the show today. Phone lines open, 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663.
We're already getting it. Hashtag all in.
Yep. Preferred Home Services text line is there for you as well at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and get your voice on the radio today. Because this weekend is what we wish college football was every single weekend, unless you're a Bama fan or a Clemson fan. This was a remarkable weekend in college football. That LSU Bama, by the way, Brian Kelly called upon the rocks of his entire family in order to get that one against Bama. Going for it and getting that 2-point conversion was gutsy, dude. OT football, the LSU fans were not pleased when LSU got the ball back with like 30 seconds left to play, and instead of trying to pick up the yardage necessary to get a field goal as a winner, decided to take a knee and go to OT. Bama scores, LSU responds on an outstanding play call, and then they decide to go for 2. And they get it. Ran the same play that Notre Dame had run a long time ago against FSU, the same play that Clemson ran to win a title a few years back. Both of those were super controversial because a illegal screen call. Bama fans are still furious about that touchdown, or who's it, Renfro, that Clemson scored, because they thought it was an illegal moving pick. Notre Dame got called for the illegal moving pick when they tried that move on FSU. LSU got away with it and knock off Bama. Bama's chances at a title are effectively done. You're not getting a 2-loss team in, I don't think, unless there's just more chaos, which there has certainly been plenty of it. But my goodness, what an absolute day. So Alabama's done. LSU, by the way, might not be. LSU now has an opportunity to control their destiny, win the SEC West, and go get themselves a championship.
Yeah, but that's the end of it. I mean, they're not making it into the playoff.
No, Georgia's really good.
Even so, doesn't LSU have 2 losses? I thought they had 2
they
losses.
do.
Yeah, so they're not getting it.
There's a question again, and it's hypotheticals. But if LSU goes in, let's say LSU does win the West and pull off the remarkable, which they won't, but what if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game? 2-loss SEC champions. Do they go in? Would a 2-loss SEC champion get in over a 1-loss ACC champion, over a undefeated TCU?
Man, it's hard to do hypotheticals because, you know, they're hypotheticals, but I am curious though. And we had a listener ask us this question Friday and went in depth with what would happen. In this case, a 2-loss team can make it in if everybody has 1 loss, which could still happen.
Yeah, because it would ultimately be the same as saying everybody's undefeated and a 1-loss SEC champion, right?
Yeah.
And in that case, we'd see that happening. So if everybody else has a loss, now again, Ohio State still got Michigan. One of those teams are taking an L, and they will not be conference champion, right? I don't suspect that TCU is going to find themselves with a loss at the end of the year.
With all the Clemson talk, which needs to happen, hashtag all in, can they still win the ACC? Because, I mean, Notre Dame's not in the ACC, right?
Correct.
So that was just basically a non-conference loss.
So Clemson still very much can and probably will win the ACC. They are 8-1 overall. Out of the Atlantic Division, the next closest team is a 6-3 Syracuse team. Clemson is 6-0 in conference. Syracuse is 3-2 with a loss to Clemson. So Clemson will be playing for and likely winning the ACC championship, although don't sleep on Drake May and the Tar Heels, who are 8-1 and 5-0 in conference. So your ACC championship is setting up to be right now Clemson versus North Carolina. And if that Clemson defense that played Notre Dame shows up, North Carolina can absolutely beat that football team. Not Clemson at its best, but if you're going to give up 264 on the ground to Notre Dame, Drake May and the Heels can beat that football team. Clemson may not win the ACC. North Carolina might. It would take Carolina's best day against another Clemson that showed up against Notre Dame day. But North Carolina is no slouch. Clemson may not win the ACC. Now, they also may be a 12-1 ACC champion. Would a 12-1 ACC champion get in before a 11-2 SEC champion if LSU beat Georgia? It won't. They won't. Georgia got that dog in them. But if that happened, would a one-loss ACC champion get in over a two-loss SEC champion?
And the other thing is, if you look at the AP, look how far Clemson dropped in the AP. That doesn't mean they'll drop that far in the CFP, which is the only thing that really matters.
True. Which we get what, tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think it's still on Tuesdays.
AP poll, as it stands right now, after the weekend that was, looks this way. Georgia is one, obviously. They won that game against, well, the number one playoff ranked team in the country, who drops down Tennessee to number 5. So Georgia bats lead off. Ohio State is 2. Michigan is 3. And now TCU finds themselves in favorable territory, number 4 in the AP poll. Everybody else after that is eating a loss, maybe 2. Tennessee goes to 5 with a loss. Oregon, with their loss earlier in the year, 2. Georgia goes to 6. LSU jumps all the way up to 7 as a 2-loss squad. USC 8, UCLA number 9, and Bama drops to 10. And there are a lot of folks like, wait a minute, why is Bama 10? The answer is those are both 2 really good losses that Bama's taken, right? They lost on Rocky Top and they lost in Death Valley. 2 of the most difficult places to play in all of college football, at Neyland and down in Baton Rouge. As losses go, Bama has the best 2 losses of any team that has 2 losses. Ole Miss drops to 11. Clemson falls to 12 in the AP poll. Utah 13. Penn State 14. NC, that would be the U version of NC, at 15. Tulane 16. NC State 17. 18, 19, and 20 are Texas. Liberty, who knocks off Arkansas, by the way, because college football's whack. Liberty is number 19. They are ahead of Notre Dame, who finds themselves at 20. Illinois 21, UCF 22, Kansas State 23, 24 is Washington, and back inside the top 25 after they put the demo job on the University of Miami is Florida State at 25. And, there's no real shockers to me in this AP top 25. None, right? Like, how can Notre Dame be so far behind Clemson when they just beat Clemson? Well, the answer is they also lost to Marshall. That's how. No real surprises here. Georgia is, with all due respect to Ohio State University, the best team in football right now, eye test wise. What happens when they slap together on the football field? We'll find out.
Sitting comfortably at 2, have not moved from 2 pretty much.
Yeah. Who gives a boat whether you're 1, 2, 3, or 4? Are you in the dance? Are you going dancing? That's all that matters.
Yeah. If you're in there, you still got to win 2 games. So,
yep. So the CFP rankings will come out tonight. And last week, they were obviously dramatically different from the AP poll, right? Dramatically different. I doubt that they will be tonight. Georgia's going to be 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4. That's how the playoff rankings. Now, last week I told you this is how the playoff rankings are going to look tonight, and they didn't look anything like that. But tonight they will. Georgia's Georgia's beat down on Tennessee very clearly earned them the number 1 spot in the college football playoff.
Was that the biggest shocker of the college football weekend? That Tennessee just didn't even compete.
Here's the thing.
Because Notre Dame beating Clemson, not really that big of a shocker. It sucks if you're a Clemson fan, #all in.
It was a little bit.
There's
a difference between a shocker that they won and a shocker in how they won. Georgia beating Tennessee is not a shocker.
Yeah, but look
Georgia
at how they did it.
Eliminating Tennessee is a shocker.
How they did it.
LSU beating Bama to me was not a shocker, right? Notre Dame beating Clemson probably not a shocker because you got to keep in mind that was Notre Dame's Super Bowl, right? Like there was nothing left for Notre Dame after that. You look down the rest of Notre Dame's schedule, they got Navy, Boston College, and maybe upsetting USC on the road. But like that win was a justification for Notre Dame to still believe in Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. That game mattered to them. It should have mattered to Clemson too. You're playing for your playoff lives, right? I said all last week, if Clemson loses a game, they're out of the playoffs. There's a cost risk benefit to having a weak schedule, right? The weak schedule means you got the easiest chance to go 12-0 and play for a conference title. The problem is one loss and you're done versus the SEC for Bama and LSU, both who have 2 losses and both are inside the top 10. Both of those teams have a chance. I doubt Bama because, LSU, unless LSU drops another one, Bama's not climbing above LSU with a loss this late in the year, but they are still technically both in a pretty solid position to get there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's run to a break. Listen, I'm going to be real with you for just a second. Ain't a lot of structure to the show right now. All right? Not a lot of structure to the show right now. We are effectively just running through the weekend, what happened, and freestyling. So I want your thoughts. Chime in. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. Text us at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. You guys are in control of the show right now. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. We're at Backstream. Got to talk about Harley Davidson of Greenville for a minute, and then we're back.
Furman men's basketball opens up the non-conference schedule tonight. They're home against North Greenville. Clemson Tigers open up at home tonight against Citadel. It was another ugly loss for the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, falling 42-21 at Cincinnati. Carolina winning time trailing.
My apologies, James, but if I don't do it, who will? I mean,
The Atlanta Falcons in Charlotte this Thursday night. The Falcons fell 20-17 Sunday against the Chargers. Catch every Carolina Panthers game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
all this college talk, and we haven't even gotten to the NFL yet. Did you see the email?
I haven't read it. I saw it came through. On my
Okay. So depending on how things go, you might have me Friday because I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
cheeseburger or
That's the wrong word.
BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5.
Could be worse. Could be just like on one of the AM channels.
Yep.
We've done that before with stuff. So, and I say worse. Actually, you're going to a station with more coverage, and so you're good. Yeah, I know, James. We feel dirty because of that, and we would like to do better. But you know, once you already messed it up, how can you fix it?
Dell Technologies Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power business productivity. The savings start now with up to 48% off performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It also means I got to move all the new imaging over there, and it's a lot of work. But you know, can't complain about a loss though, even though it means more work. Because it also means more work for you, and more pay for you, and more excitement around here. So I just I'm going to jump in here because it's taking him a minute to move, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you the real reason why. He's going to blame it on something else. But no carbonated beverages is really, it's really getting to him. And so we're going to believe that you went this entire weekend with no carbonated beverages, right? He's nodding. It's radio, but he's nodding.
Listen, Friday night, get to the game, stop at the gas station as I always do. Went to, as I always do, the Monster section, pulled out the big turbo can, and then was like, oh, crap. So put it back, grabbed two 5 hours, so a 10-hour energy, and a Gatorade. I got the berry flavor of 5 hours though. I got myself 3 big Gatorades. I opened one, I drank off the top of it, and then I just poured a 5 hour. I got a grape Gatorade and poured a grape 5 hour into it. Was not as good as I had hoped it was going to be. But that's how I got through Friday. The ultimate, oh man, I screwed up, was Saturday night. I got not permission from, I didn't need permission, but I got the I'm in from the lady friend on Saturday night, right? Like we talked about going out, and then she goes, you know, there's a lot going on. What if we just brought all the TVs into the living room? I was like, deal, bet, done, let's do it. So we brought all the TVs into the living room. She goes, I kind of want wings. Let's get wings. Okay, yeah, you're speaking my language. So we order 40 wings for the two of us. And move the kitchen table over. We're sitting on the couch. I got the girlfriend, the dog, the cat, and me. 6 screens working, 40 wings on the table. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna make a drink. And I walk to the kitchen. I get out the vodka. I'm gonna pour the vodka into one of our waters. And then I'm like, oh crap again. Crap. So I just had to drink water vodka. Mainly because it turns out that despite my glaring objections and the hope that this gets corrected one day, you're not allowed to buy whiskey after 7 p.m. Any day of the week. Because I'd have just gone and got me some bourbon and put it over ice and would have been fine with that. Couldn't get bourbon, so it was vodka water, just regular water for the night. Rolled up this morning.
Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, it's
just not on the list of things that I like. A lot of people just like vodka water.
So why do you just go straight
Red
up
Bull.
vodka? Why do you have to put?
I don't like vodka by itself.
Okay,
I'm a vodka mixer. Bourbon I'll drink by itself. Rum I'll drink by itself if it's a good rum. It's not a vodka by itself guy. I will tell you, and I did learn this Saturday, vodka mixed strangely well with Gatorade. It does mix strangely well with Gatorade. So I am now Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 days into my 14-day stretch, and do not approve. Do not suggest.
So the detox hasn't really kicked in yet.
No. I will tell you that, like I said, Saturday, after effectively a day and a half, I was like, this sucks. Everything about this sucks.
Well, I just want to throw this out there, and I'm sure listeners would agree and approve. And if they don't, I don't care really. If you would like to just go ahead and say, forget it, I'm taking my shoes off tomorrow.
No, I would
you
not
can
like,
do
I would
you
not
can
like
do
to
that,
say that,
and we'll just let it go, and you can go back to doing your thing.
I would not like to say that.
Okay.
I am not tapping out.
You know
yet.
what? I would say, I would like you to say that.
I know you would. I would not listen. I'm not tapping out yet. And I will tell you that there is a point in my mind where the sunken cost fallacy checks in, right? Of like, if I make it to the halfway point, if I make it to this Friday without breaking, I'm not breaking the second half. Because at that point, it's like, okay, you did a week, you did the original punishment. And if you give up now, you just wasted that time. So if I make it a Friday, I'm fine for another week. Joe said, take 5-hour energies and experience the forbidden 25th hour. Friday night's going to be interesting because I leave here. I effectively get immediately on the road to head to Columbia. I call the game. Then I've got a 2-hour and 20-minute drive back. The forbidden 25th hour might be in effect then. Joe said vodka Gatorade is a summer golf course staple. See, I'm a vodka lemonade guy. But vodka Gatorade it's made the list. It just made the list. All right. Coming up in hour number 2. We just keep going college football, and we will reveal who is on the hook for the punishment in this week's Boo Box Bets. There was one game that we picked differently on. A single game determined this week's loser. So who dropped the ball? We'll find out next hour on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Takeout? Here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rate credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from LightStream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with LightStream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 6.99% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 6.99% APR to 21.49% APR and includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Kenny May with special guests Dan Patrick and Keith Owen.
But there was so much competition there behind the scenes and the shows, and there was a lot going on, Kenny. Now it's revisionist history where people look back and go, you guys must have been treated like kings and
Like all the ones who were guillotined and prayed.
yeah.
Download and subscribe to Hey May, available on the Odyssey app. and everywhere you get your podcast.
Apparently, during the Bears-Dolphins games, after Justin Fields ran for his 900th yard of the day, he ran off into the Dolphins sideline, and Mike McDaniels came over and like hit him on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, stop it!"
That's funny.
Tickets for the season opener start at just $5. Get your tickets now by calling 864-294-3099 or by visiting FurmanPower.com.
Yeah, Alonzo played the long game on me, and it worked. You're not wrong. Yeah, because Brendan, when I said no carbonated beverages for a week, I got told that punishment was too soft. So I self-immolated myself, which is redundant, I know, and decided to make it a 2-week punishment. So I've got to go not through this Friday, but next Friday with no carbonated beverage, no beer, no soda. The waters I drink every show are carbonated. Can't have those. Nothing. And I am straight up not having a good time with it. I knew it wasn't going to be great, but it is worse than expected. And I'm 3 days in. Let's see. Try some poor man's PJ, Malibu rum, and a tropical punch Kool-Aid. That actually sounds delicious, Steven. And as a Floridian, I'm a big beach boat drink guy. And that sounds delightful, actually. That sounds delightful. Brandon, I will be done with this punishment Thanksgiving weekend. Just as a heads up, like Monday night specifically. No particular reason, Rochambeau, but just a heads up. That punishment will be over at that point.
Oh, yeah, that's a good name for a kid's show. Come on, Rob.
It was Mr. Rogers' middle name. His middle name was McFeely.
And you know, we're going from Mr. McFeely to Deshaun Watson. What a transition. Hello, let's talk about happy endings.
Same great show, new time. Now 9 to noon, only on the Fan Upstate.
Rob Shambo. Well done.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Now CBS Sports Radio.
Here's how to get in the game. On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound, but you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play
Oh,
97 the Fan
no.
Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at
Why?
Upstate.com. Upstate.
What the? What happened to the liner? That's just ridiculous. Why are you messing with me, Wide Orbit?
The DA Show, mornings at 6. The Jungle with Jim Rome, weekdays at noon.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
The Fan Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show enters our numero dos right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. How y'all doing? What's happening? Good to be with you. I am Rob Brown. The great Lonzo sits on the other side of the metaphorical glass from I and you are listening and watching from around the world. Yeah, no, I blew it. What do you want, Lonzo? It was a long weekend.
It could be a word. You're the intellectual over there. You know, I was going to look it up. I mean,
Speaking of word, hashtag segue.
it's what I'm just good. Even when I don't try.
Speaking of word, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a bit of a programming notification for you. The Burns Rebels, despite making it a much more competitive game than we would have liked it to have been, knocked off the Hillcrest Rams this past Friday night at Hillcrest in round number 1 of the South Carolina High School football playoffs. Therefore, the Burns Rebels have made it on to round number 2 of the high school playoffs. And that takes them about halfway across the state. They will travel to take on Blythewood High School. That is going to be this Friday night. Here's the programming note. Also happening this Friday night, the Furman's men's basketball team is in action in game number 2 of their regular season. Because of that, Furman men's basketball Friday evening will take place right here on the Fan Upstate. And because of that, Burns Rebels High School football, with yours truly on the call, will be moved over to 106.3 WORD. So, if you have been following along with the Rebels, or if you're just like, you know what, I need about 3.5 more hours of Rob Brown in my life, this Friday night, Burns Rebels football will be moving over to 106.3 WORD, and you'll hear the entire call there. Pregame, as always, will start at 7. Kickoff, as always, will start at 7:30, and every game for the remainder of the season is do or die, winner move on, loser goes home. So, get your popcorn ready. Burns at Blythewood this Friday evening. They are on the road. If they win that game, and if Gaffney wins this Friday, Lonzo, how about a Burns-Gaffney rematch in round 3 of the playoffs with a ticket to the playoff semifinals on the line? That could be big.
Upper state championship?
Well, upper state championship.
Listen, you're new at this. I'm just trying to help you.
I don't. Like, is there not just a state championship?
There is.
Okay.
There is. And your way makes more sense, but that's not how it's done here. So, I mean, hi, boy.
Texter said, Rob, DJ threw the pick 6. Hashtag SCND fan. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I would have thought that leads to a quarterback controversy. And I'm not ready to write off the career of Cade Klubnik, right? Because the dude is a true fresh. I'm not writing him off. But
you know what Cade believes? He thinks he's Patrick Mahomes. He is not. That sidearm thing that he tried to do, he should never do that again.
I'm going to tell you one problem that is taking place on college campuses around the country. And there is no way to stop it. Okay? There's no way to stop it. You've kind of entered this point, I think, where, especially with quarterback, when you go find yourself that 5-star kid, that 4.5, 5-star kid, that is the next generation, he's the next guy, he's the next BMOC, and you go get that guy, how do you recruit that kid? How do you get that guy involved? You convince him that he's the next coming, right? You convince him that he's the dog, he's the dude, it's your school. And the problem you face, I think, to some degree, is that you have these kids in an era of brand building who have built a brand before they step on campus. Now, I'm not saying Cade is any different than anybody else. But I am saying that with the way that some of y'all hyped up Cade Klubnik as the future, like this cat was going to step on the field at the highest level of collegiate football from day number 1 and be untouchable when he's never even strapped on a college-level helmet yet, I think you kind of get into some of these kids' heads and they think it's going to be easy. That was my entire theory with DJ Uiagalelei, right? Between y'all, and when I say y'all, I'm using the Royal, not like any individual of you, but the Clemson fan base as a whole. Between y'all and Big Dave building DJ's brand before he even stepped foot on the campus. I think DJ just thought, hey, you just show up, you roll in, and you beat Trevor, right? You beat Kelly, you beat Deshaun. You just step onto campus and you be the next guy. And the Big Cinco brand got built before DJ Uiagalelei did anything, right? Before he did anything. Then he stepped in last year as a starter with minimal experience after stepping in for TL16 when he got the Rona the year before. He steps into that spot, and he just wasn't ready. Now, it may just be that he's just not good enough, right? He's just not good enough.
Come on now. You can't do that. Hashtag all in. You can't do that. You can't say that the next coming hashtag all in is not good enough. You can't do that. He was put into a situation by the coaching staff that he never should have been put in so he would look bad, so all the Clemson fans would be quiet. That's the only reason why he was put in for, the little bit that he's put in. He's pulled right back in. This is just Dabo saying, shut up. You guys don't know what you're talking about. I'm the coach. You be fans, let me be the coach. Hashtag all in.
I don't think that's the case because I don't think Dabo is risking the playoff positioning against Notre Dame just to prove a point, right? That being said, I think that DJ stepped on board with the Big Cinco brand already built, expecting to roll the Tiger Paw out there and just collect wins. And that hadn't happened. Didn't happen last year. It had happened this year, but you went on the road to a very difficult Notre Dame position. And by the way, with a week off, this is off the bye, and that's what happened.
Notre Dame was rocking too. They were.
For sure.
They were. I mean, it was loud. It was everything it should be
Keep
at
in
Notre
mind
Dame.
that while they do still have USC at the end of the year, that's on the road. This was it. This was Notre Dame. As far as home games go, this was the Super Bowl. And despite the Eldon Marshall, Notre Dame fans did not disappoint. They did not slow up. They did not let up. They were there, and they were out in force. Cade, I don't know that Cade has the same issue that DJ had, that Cade showed up and was just like, bask in my glory. Right? I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. But Cade ain't ready. He came in against Syracuse because Dabo wanted a spark for the offense and played what? Just over a quarter and a half?
And handed the ball off. Yesterday or Saturday, you found out why he wasn't throwing the ball.
Yep. Threw the ball 4 times in about a quarter and a half, little over a quarter and a half of duty against the Cuse. Yesterday came in through 1 pass, 0 for 1 with a pick. There are questions. And Dabo, after the game was over, said that Clemson will, quote, evaluate everything, end quote. After the Cuse game, he said, look, DJ's the guy. DJ's the leader. We're not changing anything. We're not changing anything at all. Everything's fine. It was a close game, competitive game. Give the Cuse credit. Give the Orange credit. But we're not changing anything. They lost to Notre Dame, and he went, yeah, everything's on the table, which is, by the way, the right way to handle it, right? You are out of the playoffs. You're not going to the playoffs. A 1-loss Tennessee will probably have a better angle at the playoffs than a 1-loss Clemson team, ACC title, regardless. I really believe that. They will have played a tougher strength of schedule, and their only L came to an undefeated number 1 in the country, Georgia Bulldogs. Right? They beat Alabama. They have beaten tougher teams in Syracuse, with all due respect to the Orange. It's a good team, but they just ain't even middle of the pack SEC.
You think the Clemson shows yesterday were all day planning their strategy about how to come on and make it sound like a positive?
I mean, I would like to think the positive here, if there is one, is that it is a long, hard look in the mirror for Dabo and the staff now, right? It's a long, hard look in the mirror because on top of the fact that DJ wasn't good, let's not pretend like the offense was giving him their best chance to succeed, right? Like, let's not pretend that there was just everything was going right and DJ by himself fumbled everything up, because he didn't. The play calling was repetitive. It was unimaginative. You kept running right into the best part of Notre Dame's defense and changed nothing.
I hear there's a guy available.
Jeff Scott.
To do some play calling. There might be a defensive guy available pretty soon too. You never know.
One and done for Brent.
You never know.
Jeff Scott has been released as the head coach of the USF Golden Knights. Scratch that. USF Bulls. Golden Knights or UCF. I got this. Jeff Scott is now unemployed. Remember, he is a former offensive co-coordinator at Clemson. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to give my man Joey B credit in the stream because Joe and I were texting last night. And Joey B's like, if Dabo wasn't on the phone within seconds to get Jeff Scott back to help fix his offense, I wouldn't know what to say to him. If he's not on the phone within seconds to get Jeff Scott back, I don't know what to say. And frankly, I don't either.
Come on home. Hashtag.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact. The offense right now for Clemson is repetitive. It's unimaginative. It's uninspired. It's just not good. It's the same thing over and over. And it doesn't feel like there's any adaptation, right? Like Notre Dame was, for the most part, stuffing the run consistently. Will Shipley got 12 carries for 63 yards and a touch. Outside of that, not much. DJ ran 9 for 23. Maffa 3 for 11. You tried the ball. And here's the part that really frustrates me. Knowing, Lonzo, that the weather was crap, that the wind was swirling, and that DJ ain't himself right now, Clemson threw the ball 39 times. 39 times. You know how many times Notre Dame threw the ball? 17. Through the whole game, 17 times to the 39 of Clemson.
Well, in Clemson's defense, they're down 2 touchdowns. They're trying to figure out a way to score some points quickly.
Sure.
But you've got to look at the conditions and know that you can't do that.
See, I think they panicked though, right? Notre Dame blocks a punt for a TD. And I think Clemson just panicked. I think they just panicked. They ran 65 plays, 40 of them through the air. And you're right. But dude, at halftime, they were down 14-0, and half of that 14 from Notre Dame was a blocked punt for a touchdown. Why are you panicking? Why are you panicking? Notre Dame scored 21 of their 35 in the fourth quarter. The ratio of run pass for Clemson was just bad. And it was, dude, like I guess late third quarter going into the fourth, you're down 14-0 and you're getting shut out. Maybe getting to a point where you're like, okay, now we got to throw the ball. We need 2 touchdowns. But it wasn't like Notre Dame was running up points on you. They had a special teams play, and then their offense was okay until late when they busted it open. It just felt like Clemson panicked. And this is not a team that should panic. You had on paper more talent than they did, and it just felt like as we got to the end of the third and end of the fourth, Clemson at every aspect of the game just panicked.
So you're still fairly new here, so you weren't around back when Clemson was Clemsoning, back when Clemson was Clemson, and this just looked like old Clemson. And this is just another sign, possibly, that the mini dynasty is over. That a quarterback does a team make, maybe a defensive coordinator does a team make. We're finding, it's not we'll just move the next guy up and it'll work. The defense looked bad. The offense looked bad. They lost. But this is the kind of thing that Clemson used to do all the time. So this looks more normal to me than winning national championships does.
I am very aware of the concept of Clemsoning because Clemsoning was a verb that is used nationwide, right? As I've told you guys how many times in the past, you don't have to like it. I broadcast at a lot of places. Everybody dislikes Clemson outside of South Carolina. But you should not care because you have built that mini dynasty, because you have made a hell of a lot of runs at excellence. So who cares? I don't care about any of that. What I care about is what happened on the field in South Bend, Indiana, Saturday night. And the answer is you panicked. DJ was not on stride. 27 of 39 is not a terrible night. 27 of 39, 191 is not a terrible night. But realistically, that number probably should have been closer to 33 of 39 for about 240, 250. But DJ was not making great reads. DJ had way too long on the release with the football. And the play calling was suspect. It wasn't it. And by the time you got late in the game, Notre Dame was able to just go, you know what? If you want to run, run. We trust our front five enough that we believe we can stop the run, give up 3-4 a play, but keep the clock running and keep you from throwing the ball. And it worked. Dabo said, DJ didn't have much of a chance, but there were some things I thought he could have done a little bit better. We could have helped him out a little bit more too. I thought he held the ball a couple of times. He just took a couple of bad sacks when the protection's there and you've got to get rid of the ball. There were just a couple of those plays. Again, but you keep running them into those plays, right? Like at some point you got to go, we got to simplify. We got to cut down. We got to reimagine the way we're running the offense. And it didn't felt like there was a bit of that when Notre Dame was taking advantage of everything you were doing. It was just a bad look. Let me get Warner in here. Wants to talk a little bit about the Clemson Notre Dame game. Warner, welcome to the show. Good to have you, big dog.
When are the offense is going to, or the coach is going to remember that the secret to winning in an away game is to huddle up on offense so you can call a play and the players can hear you?
Did you think there was too much fast pace?
Yeah, you can't do fast pace in an away game anymore because the crowds are too noisy in college football.
That's fair. And Notre Dame was no doubt very much awake in that game, right? Like Notre Dame's crowd, that game was everything to them. They got USC at the end of the year, which is their true rivalry, but that is an away game. This was the biggest game. Notre Dame was ready to go, and it just felt like Clemson got thrown off script. The communication was bad, and they just consistently had breakdowns.
Same thing with Alabama. Same thing with Tennessee. They, all the offsides penalties and trying to figure out a play. They couldn't hear the plays that were being called.
Yeah, I don't think you're
Huddle
wrong.
up, make a play, and go out and run it.
I don't think you're wrong, Warner. I appreciate the call, man. Great to have you on the show. It did feel like a number of times Clemson just got caught kind of out of sorts, man. It has felt like they just, in certain spots, weren't ready, were unprepared, didn't know what direction that they were going in. I don't know. It was not, it's not what I expect out of a Dabo Swinney coach staff.
Can we, I would like to apologize on behalf of the show for talking way too much Clemson today. There's a lot of other things that we could be talking about, hashtag all in. So, as the NFL guys, I know we've talked way too much Clemson today, but we're giving you the part of the Clemson that you're not going to hear somewhere else. So,
I mean, you're not going to hear it anywhere else.
Yeah.
You're just not. It is what it is. I mean, again, are there positives to be spun out of this? Sure. Here's a positive. Here's a silver lining. I never expected you to win a championship this year anyway. Clemson is not Georgia's level. They're not Ohio State's level. Frankly, they're not Tennessee's level. They're not Alabama's level. Hell, they might not be LSU's level at this point, right? But
may not be TCU's level.
TCU's good, man. Like, they're not getting credit. Regardless of whose level they are or are not on right now. All it comes down to is you were not a championship caliber team. That's not an insult. Of 131 teams, like 5 of them are championship caliber teams this year. What I did expect was for this team to be competing, consistent, et cetera, and they're not that either, right? They're not that either. There were some games after the Georgia Tech game to open where we were like, maybe this team's found its direction a little bit. Maybe last year was the anomaly. The Syracuse game, I did not think was as bad as people were making it out to be. The role of Syracuse has always been to be little brother, to be a team you can go beat up on. And And Syracuse brought it this year against Clemson, but they brought it. I wasn't worried about that. I am absolutely worried about the Notre Dame game. Said it on Friday. I did pick Clemson to cover the spread, but the spread in that game was only what? Clemson by 3.5, right? That number 6.5, I'm picking Notre Dame. 3.5, I liked it. But Clemson panicked. That it just is what it is. You absolutely panicked. And I don't know if it was, new coordinators. I don't know if Tony Elliott deserves more credit than he ever got when he was there. I don't know if Brent Venables deserves more credit than he got as a DC. We're finding out Brent Venables may be getting Peter principled right now, right? He got elevated to one position higher than his efficiency rating, so to speak. I don't know if it goes back to Dabo. I'm not putting it all on DJ. I've already seen people on Twitter that are like, I should have got rid of DJ. Dude, my guy, this is not all on DJ. I promise you it's not. Did he look good? No. Did he help out? Yeah. But Clemson just panicked. That's all there is to it. All right, Clemson fans, you are still welcome on the show at 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. Marcus said, I think you mean a 2-loss Clemson ACC champ because the Gamecocks are going to take them behind the tool shed. We'll find out. I like Clemson by 2 touchdowns over South Carolina right now. After South Carolina allowed Vandy to chip away and climb back into that thing late, no reason not to just absolutely throttle Vanderbilt late, and you let them come back on you a little bit. Talk about that and a lot more. South Carolina fans, your time under the spotlight is coming up. It's a good win. May not be the time under the spotlight that you're looking for. I'll tell you why. Our AP poll is out. We'll look up and down it, see if we can prognosticate what tomorrow night's college football playoff rankings look like. The Houston Astros are your 2022 World Series champions. We'll talk a little bit about how they ended up putting away the white-hot Phillies late in the series and more. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's your season's trusted forecast on the Fan Upstate. Skies will be mostly sunny and cool today, high 80 degrees. For tonight, a slight chance for rain showers, partly cloudy skies and near 58. Tuesday, sunshine, high 69. And Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 62. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on the Fan Upstate. Currently at 68.
Tough one for the Panthers in Cincinnati as they would trail 35-0 at halftime on their way to a 42-21 defeat against the Bengals. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
It's bow time. A Bojangles family meal has more fixings to choose from.
Creamy mac and cheese.
That delicious dirty rice. Seasoned fries.
Crunchy coleslaw. Tasty green beans. The scratch-made biscuits.
Don't forget that legendary iced tea. More choices of handcrafted fixings for everyone.
So blame Brandon Streeter. To some degree, I mean, were you, James, were you inspired by the play calling, right? Is there any point that you're like, then this is going really well with the football? I don't. There comes a point, like there is something about tenacity. There's something about stubbornness, right? That can be good things. But at some point, you got to realize that the best way to get past the brick wall is not to slam your head into it over and over. Go around it. Go over it. Get a different set of tools. There's something else to do. You might eventually get through a brick wall by banging your head through it, but you're gonna get.
You would if you got a head of my size. Yeah. Stick a brick wall.
PJ Walker just 3 out of 10 passing in the first half, 9 yards, was intercepted twice, and then replaced by Baker Mayfield in the second half. He was able to hook up with Tommy Trumbull for a touchdown.
Play clock into single digits. Mayfield in the gun. 3 receivers. To the left, Shi Smith in the slot. Shotgun snap. Baker fires over the middle. End zone. It is caught for a touchdown by Tommy Trimble.
And he also hooked up with Terrace Marshall for another touchdown. 14 out of 20 passing, 155 yards in the game for Baker Mayfield in this one. As the Panthers fall to 2-7 on the season, next play at home on Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm Jim Zelke on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
Tonight's game sees the Ravens visiting the Saints down in New Orleans. Here's a trend to keep in mind when betting this game. Some teams love being underdogs, but the Saints are not one of those teams. New Orleans is just 3-7 in their last 10 games as underdogs. With Baltimore rolling into town as a 2.5-point favorite, this is a good time to jump on this trend and fade the Saints. There is no more fight left in these dogs, even at the crib. I'm Trista Crick, helping you beat the book.
Wow.
Cool. Thanks,
You're the
Trista.
one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Granger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who...
Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, there are some people in the industry that are going to tell you selling a home today is a hassle. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not a hassle. It is an opportunity, and that is because home values in most areas have appreciated significantly, and buyer interest is still incredibly strong. With Allen Tate, they will help you get your home ready to sell. They will help you price it right and market it to qualified buyers so you can sell it quickly for maximum value. And isn't that what you want, to sell it for as much as you can? Yeah, obviously. And in today's real estate market, there is no need to discount the value of your most... Tom Brady undefeated since getting divorced. I told y'all, although that game was ugly, dude. That Bucks-Rams game was disgusting. James said at least Trevor won. I told y'all TL was going to be fine.
It was closer than it should have been.
Which one, Jacksonville? Yeah, no doubt. But Trevor did what Trevor needed to do.
They are the fabric of the community, literally. And Smith & James thrives because they succeed at their mission to make you look your best. Believe me, if they can make me look good, they can do it for anybody.
Did you get an invite to a meeting tomorrow?
Visit Smith & James at 220.
Not that I'm aware of, but let me check.
Visit them online at smithandjames.com.
Why did I just get irrationally nervous?
Huh?
So why did I just get irrationally nervous? Nervous. Yes, I did.
Starting at just $39.95. With new technology, you will need fewer visits than ever. Save even more with most insurance plans like MetLife and Delta Dental.
Oh, this is a.
If you read down, it's a corporate thing.
It is.
Schedule your free consultation, exam, and x-rays today.
I like to make it, boss, but it's right in the middle of nap time.
Sponsored by South Carolina.
Actually, we're normally doing a thing around that time.
Since 2002, more than 2.4 million.
It's true, we are.
Scholarships such as Life Hope and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students. Playing for fun is a win for education.
We also might want to rethink our schedule this week.
Education wins for more info.
Because we play Thursday.
They like frown upon posts. I don't know.
We could add an extra pod.
We could.
We could just do one today, tomorrow,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. You know what we should do? We should do one. No, you know what we should do? Here's what we should do. We should do one. I don't think we need to change the schedule. We'll do one today.
Because the Friday one, we'll just do a Friday and it'll be post.
Right.
Okay.
Let's do one today. Let's do one Wednesday. Let's do one Friday. Let's do it that way.
All right.
Wednesday can be what our Friday usually is. Friday will be what our Monday usually is. Next Monday, we'll do like a generic.
What?
I'll get you there, buddy. Hang in there. We got this. Courtesy of a Thursday night Carolina Panthers game. And yes, we are going to be getting into that here in just a little while because the Panthers were bad on Sunday. Specifically, a defense that allowed 5 touchdowns to one dude. At some point, you might want to not let that dude do that thing anymore.
In just about every single way that you could possibly allow the guy to score touchdowns. Through the air, on the ground.
Yep. Dude did everything but return a kick. And to be honest with you, I don't know that he didn't do that because I clicked away from that game. Like, I'll just watch the replay later, the NFL Plus replay later. Did Mixon return one for a TD? He might have.
I don't think he did.
I didn't think he did either.
He's
Either way.
a little tired at that point.
I am not so I am looking forward to the Views from Mid Street podcast, which Lonzo and I will be dropping at about 12:30. Well, not dropping, recording about 12:30 and dropping about 2.
I wasn't looking forward to it until something happened in the second half, and I'm like, okay, there is a positive in this beatdown. There absolutely is.
Baker looked better. Baker looked better. You know, we asked the question, could Baker have a resurgence now that Matt Rule is gone, right? PJ did until he went 3 of 10 with 2 interceptions and 9 yards, and PJ got sat because eventually PJ was going to be PJ. Like I said, you're riding the hot hand and you're taking the gamble on when the hot hand gives out, and the answer was first half against Cincinnati. PJ gets benched. Baker comes in. What's Bake do? 14 of 20, $155, and 2 touchdowns. That ain't a bad day at the house.
That's not guaranteeing he's going to be the starter, though, because someone was just activated today.
No, Baker's the starter. After that, 14 to 20, 155, 2 touches, Baker's the starter.
Baker should have been the starter all along. He was injured. I mean, and he was out. But when he came back from injury, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. PJ was almost won, and then he did win. So you're like, okay, let's see.
Ride the hot hand.
Yeah, but you still got to look in practice and see who's better.
Yeah, but I didn't get to do that. From the outside looking in, if PJ wins a game or performs really well in a couple of games, as he did, you got to ride the hot hand. I also did say on the Views from Mid Street Pod, wherever podcasts are available on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, or Apple iTunes, are free on the Odyssey app, where Alonzo and I break down Carolina football week by week, 3 times a week, that PJ is the hot hand. You ride the hot hand, but you also have to understand at some point the hot hand goes cold, right? You don't stay a hot hand forever. And the hot hand went cold after going 3 of 10 for 9 yards and 2 picks. Not great. A QBR of 2.6 on the day for PJ Walker. So they go to Bake. Bake comes in, 14 of 20, $155, 2 touchdowns. He is your starting quarterback now. He just is. Until he goes cold. And if he goes cold, then cool. Try Sam. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter anymore, right? All that matters is setting this team up towards next year. Now, it might matter if you're Steve Wilks, because you're coaching for a job. But if you're a Carolina fan, it does not matter. Unless you're just a huge Steve Wilks guy, it doesn't matter who the QB is.
Well, I'm still going to be the guy who wants them to win. I just do. I'm not the guy who's, yeah, okay, it's over. Let's get the best draft pick. They got a ton of draft picks. They do. The Panthers have like 37 draft picks. It's not that many, but it's a lot.
They got 8.
It's a lot.
They got 8.
They have Belichick-like numbers of draft picks.
The quarterback situation is now Baker 1, Sam 2, PJ 3. That's it.
And
it's done.
And see, when Baker came in, I found myself going, okay, come on, man, do something. Show why you should be there. And some of it's to towards some other people, maybe even on the station saying things. And so, and trolling is my life. So, but then he just drove him right down the field, and it's like, okay, can he do it again? Then he did it again. Then he did it again.
He had like one real bad misthrow early, but I'm also like, dude, he's checking in for the first time in 4 weeks. Like, of course he's going to have a misfire. And then he went 14 of 20, $155, 2 touchdowns. I'll tell you where the problem in this game lies. The problem in this game lies that the Baker was the only thing you had working. Deontay Foreman, 7 carries, 23 yards. Longest was a 6. Spencer Brown, 3 carries, 16. Raheem Blackshear, 5 carries for 13 yards. You couldn't run the ball. And what have we been saying since the LA game? Identity found. You're a run team. Well, you ran the ball 18 times. You threw it 30.
And when you can't run the ball, then you're going to find out how good your quarterback is And that's what they found out. But the real culprit, the real reason why the Panthers lost this game yesterday has been the strength all year long. And something happened like the entire defense like spent the night out too late or something, because none of them act like they wanted to play. It was so unlike them how they played.
The identity of this football team was run the ball, play good defense,
and get
They were
pressure
0 for
on the quarterback. Where was that?
Yeah.
I mean, Burrow looked all world, and they pointed out in the broadcast how this was the point last year where the Bengals turned things around and made their run to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And maybe that's starting to happen again. They look good.
They were up 35 at halftime. It was the largest halftime deficit in the history of the Panthers franchise. Carolina put up 21 in the second half. They allowed only 7. Tale of two halves, right? 35-0 in the first half. End of the second half. The second half score was 21-7. Now, granted, at that point, the Bengals were like, hey, it's practice, right? Like, it's practice. Don't freak out and be like, oh yeah, we smoked them in the second half. We do that the whole game. Not really, because the Bengals kind of pulled off a little bit. But when you allow Joey B to go plus 200 and a touch, when you allow Joe Mixon to go 22 carries for 153, 4 on the ground, and oh, by the way, 4 for 58 through the air, and add a ridiculous touchdown through the air as well.
And by the way, Burrow sit down for, I think, the entire fourth quarter, if I recall. So, I mean.
Oh, he could have run that to 3 easy. Could have run it to 3 easy. Here's the point. When you run the ball 18 times for 64 yards, when you're a run team, when you give up, well, they have let's see, where's the yardage? 241 on the ground surrendered. 241. And I know you've got some banged up players. You got some guys that are trying to get healthy on the defensive side of the football. You're missing some dudes like Jeremy Chin, et cetera. But if Jeremy Chin was responsible for, 75 yards of rushing offense being stopped, you're still giving up over $178. It's not good. It's not a good look. The tank is on, right? And it has to be at this point. But here's what I will say. All the talk has been quarterback. Panthers got to get a quarterback. Got to draft a quarterback. Panthers got to get a quarterback. Baker looked better. 14 of 20, $155, 2 touches. Granted, by the time that he came in, the Bengals were already pulling away. So probably not the most impressive performance that you would see out of a 2 TD day for the young man. But Carolina played Thursday night. They take on an Atlanta team coming off an L against San Diego. Ugly L, but an L nonetheless to the Superchargers. And if they are coming off of an L to the Superchargers, not that this division is still up for grabs, because it's not, right? Tampa's win over the LA Rams was ugly too. But they look better, and they finally figured out how to finish out a game, and they're getting healthier. We're going to find out tonight who the Saints are. Saints at Ravens this evening. Ravens at Saints this evening. We're going to find out tonight exactly who the New Orleans Saints are. If the Saints come out and are able to beat Baltimore, which I'm not projecting, Baltimore should win this game. But if the Saints, unhealthy, are able to beat Baltimore tonight and make that 24-0 win over the Raiders more legitimized. By the way, what the hell, Las Vegas? How are you this bad? If the Saints are able to overcome the Ravens, this division is definitely out of reach for Carolina. So the tank is on, right? The tank is on. What do you do with that as of today? Number 2 overall pick. Do you have to go quarterback? You know, it's going to be interesting. And this is the good news for Carolina. The good news for the Panthers is that with this division out of reach at this point at 2-7, with a, let's be real, pretty weak back end of the schedule coming up for the Panthers, right? Because you're getting You're getting the Ravens next at Baltimore, but then you get the Broncos, a better Seahawks team, the Steelers, the Lions, who, by the way, Aaron Rodgers, 3 picks against Detroit. When's the last time Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks?
Never.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I'm going to switch that up, Zoe. We were talking going into that Atlanta game with the divisional first place on the line. Like, well, Carolina can win this. They've got the easier back end of the schedule. Well, the Ravens don't look that bad. The Broncos are bad, but they've pointed themselves in the right direction.
They just lost again, I believe.
The Seahawks are good. The Steelers beat the Bucks. The Lions beat Aaron Rodgers. And then you got the Bucks and the Saints to wrap it out. Back end of the schedule is not as easy as we were hoping it was going to be
All right.
2 weeks ago.
Other than Baltimore, you didn't impress me with what you just said.
I didn't impress you with the Seahawks?
No.
You're not impressed with the Seattle Seahawks right now?
No, I'm not.
The 6-3 Seattle Seahawks.
I'd be impressed with the an 8-win Seattle.
Sorry, a 4 wins in a row. The only L coming in the last 8 at New Orleans, when New Orleans was a little more healthy.
There you go. They lost to New Orleans. I'm not impressed.
I mean, they beat the Giants.
Do you believe in the Giants?
Ish. Believe-ish.
There's the NFL is really top heavy this year.
Oh, sure is.
Everybody else is bad or mid. So I mean,
Anyway, point is,
and the Panthers have what, 1 conference loss, I guess. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win, come back and win.
Here's the thing. Keep in mind, the divisional records only matter if you end up anywhere close to the team up front.
Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, it looks like the Bucks are probably going to win it.
Right. Divisional record means a lot if you both end 13-3. Doesn't matter now.
Or everyone ends up, what is it, 7-9?
Yeah.
No, it'd be 7-10. It's 17 games now.
That being said, the whole point of all this, before we get out of this break, which we should be going now, cornerbacks coach Evan Cooper and defensive line coach Paul Pasqualoni were both fired by Steve Wilks after that game. Defensive assistant Bobby Maffey and interim defensive coordinator Al Holcomb will step in to coach the DBs, while Don Johnson and Terrence Knighton will continue to coach the defensive linemen in an elevated role here. Carolina was outgained 464 to 228 in the loss, gave up 5 rushing touchdowns after allowing only 7 in the first 8 games combined. The Panthers also committed 7 penalties for 50 yards, 4 of them on the defense for lining up offsides. Yeah, that'll get you fired, dude. That'll do it. All right. What do y'all want to talk about? Hit me on the text line, 71307. Got a lot of texts, and I will run through them when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Were they at Urban's bar? Oh, sorry, I missed it. Hashtag Baker.
We haven't been able to do that in a
Baker,
while.
I'll say Baker lost the right to have his name shouted on this air a while back.
We haven't done it on the podcast either. I think it might be time to bring it. Well, maybe. I don't know. A win definitely would have brought it back.
PJ Walker got the start, just 3 of 10 for 9 yards. He was picked off twice. He was replaced by Baker Mayfield, who led the Panthers to a touchdown on their first possession of the second half. The Falcons fell 20-17 against the Chargers on Sunday. Quick turnaround for them. They'll face the Panthers in Charlotte this Thursday night. Catch every Carolina Panthers game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, you and I both know that joint pain can sometimes keep you from doing things you love. I love to go shoot hoops with the boys, but sometimes the knee and lower back are like, no, not today. Well, if that's a problem for you, you need to call QC Kinetics and let them show you how their advanced regenerative medicine can help you restore and repair damaged joint tissue and give you your life back. Your hip, shoulders, elbows, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. These are powerful healing agents that are highly concentrated. So if you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if
So I'm taking a break from Odyssey to like, and I'm going to get back into it a little bit, the beat, playing Skyrim. And then I had this phenomenon happen that's happened to other people. Suddenly everyone starts floating up into the sky. And then they just disappear into the sky. It's just like
the long-awaited rapture
yeah,
moment.
yeah. It was just like, what? And the first time that happened was with a bad guy that I needed to beat to beat the scenario. It's just like,
It's a new Skyrim mod where all the good people are taken away, and it's only you and the sinners that are left.
I thought something was weird because we were inside this place, and everybody floated up to the ceiling, which was not bad because I just started picking them off while they're in the ceiling.
I like that all these poor guys are 0G to the roof, and Lonzo's like, murder seems like a good response.
You only got a minute, by the way. Yeah, it was weird, James. It was like the Panthers just had a concerted effort, a consensus. Hey, let's all play bad today. The defense was like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Got it, boss.
So I looked up why everybody was floating away, and apparently the AI only has so much room.
Right.
And I guess it was overcrowded in spots, and because of it, it kind of breaks the game. And so I went back and I had overcrowded cities, overcrowded roads, and overcrowded something, or populated, not overcrowded, but I had all those on there, and that's supposedly it crashed the AI.
My instant response is to clip into DM mode and be like, okay, how would I write around that? And my response is lawful good God, frustrated by amount of debauchery in this particular city, just decides, you know what, I'm just going to bring up all the good people and let the bad ones fight it out amongst themselves. And then evil demon steps in to take over the town where there's no good. And it's your job as an adventurer now to defeat that, knowing that everyone you come across is lawful evil. Or
Well, I think it was IGN who wrote, "Why is everybody transcended today?" It was wild.
Wrapping up hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Brown. The Grubin Lonzo is over there. Stay tuned because coming up in the next hour, we have got a pair of tickets to give away to the Furman Belmont basketball game on November 11th, and we will be giving those tickets away coming up in the next hour. So if you would like to win a pair of tickets to the Furman Belmont game, by the way, on what was it, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday night, I hosted Hoops Night alongside Miss Anna Catherine, who is the Furman in-arena host, hosted that event, which was great. Bob Ritchie, the head coach of Furman, blew my mind, right? They tell me, they're like, all right, Rob, here's the deal. We're going to have you use your cool ring announcer voice to bring out the team. And then we're going to have you do a quick little 4 or 5 question interview with Bob Ritchie for the crowd. So Anna Catherine and I are standing there and we're like, all right, coach, team's got swag, team's got energy, fans are out here. How important is it? Bob takes the mic from me, right? Which as an announcer / interviewer in a sports arena, one of the things you do is you do not let go of the mic, right? You don't let go of the mic. You keep the mic because all you need is an athlete or a coach grabbing that mic and then deciding to rip off a few F-bombs that nobody can stop, right? You do not let go of the mic. If they put their hand on it, that's fine. You just keep your hand on it too so that you can snatch it back if need be. Bob's like freaking Bruce Lee hands. That's mine now. Takes it, walks over to the crowd, and starts ripping in to how important it is to have a great home court advantage, right? He's like, if you go on the road, home court in the college basketball is worth an average of 8.3 points per game. And you get this many minutes of extra additional time and, Teams that are on the road at an environment that reaches X amount of decimals commit Y more fouls than and I'm like, good Lord, Bob Ritchie. This dude did the deep dive into the science of having a great home court advantage. And they have whipped the students into a frenzy for the start of basketball season. So coming up in about half an hour, we are going to give away a pair of tickets to the Furman-Belmont game on November 11th. And if you want a chance to win those 2 tickets, you need to be listening in about a half an hour from right now because we will give them away right here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Texter says, Geno Smith deserves respect. He gave Dabo and Clemson their worst beating to date. Hashtag West Virginia just scored again. How about Geno Smith and his 6-3 Seahawks? Oh, no, they lost Russell. They're going to be turns out they're better than Russell and Denver. A team that a lot of folks predicted to be an AFC contender in the Denver Broncos. The Seahawks are better. Texter, Rob, how bad does that Saints loss look to the Panthers now? Very, very bad for New Orleans. But despite the fact that Michael Thomas is once again about to get paid $10 million to sit on the IR for the season, Slant God is now Surgery God. The Saints were banged up. They get Jarvis Landry back, ? Tonight. He's a game time decision. Marshawn Lattimore, however, is out. Best defensive back on that team. Mark Ingram II, the Thunder in the Thunder and Lightning combo, is out. He will not be available. You know, I've been saying the whole time, when the Saints get healthy, look out for them to make a run alongside Tampa, but they just can't get healthy. Texter said, Caleb from Chesney says, should Clemson try to get Jeff Scott again? Yes. If Dabo hasn't already called Jeff Scott to try to get him back to Clemson, he's making a grave mistake. He should already be on a plane back to South Carolina because the problems with Clemson begin in the headset. Get him in as an analyst. Do it the Nick Saban way, right? I know you don't want to move on if you're Dabo from Brandon Streeter because then you have to admit you made a flawed pick from within your guys. When you bring in Jeff Scott, you make him an analyst. You basically audition him to be placed into that role next year. You absolutely do that. Texter, Rob, Bills Mafia calls fans who think they know more than coaches, bleacher coaches. Yeah, every team's got those, though, right? Hell, I've made a job out of it. And finally, Texter, has the leprechaun from Lyman chimed in yet today? Not on this show.
I'm guessing he won't be allowed on another one, though.
I mean, I don't know. That's appointment radio for me. Are you kidding me? That's appointment radio. All right, let's take a break. Oh, here's one more. Amazing. Rarely mentioned Clemson prior to them losing, and after a loss, 3 hours of what's wrong with Clemson talk. They lost in a hostile environment. Yes, I never mentioned Clemson on this show. My goodness, you are a soft fan. A Charmin soft fan.
You're not satisfied.
They never talk good about me. Yes,
Yeah.
we did. We spent half of Friday's show talking about you.
Don't let that person under your skin, dude. Come on.
But they never say nice things about me. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Hello, this is one login voice. After the beep, enter the digits you see on the screen, followed by the hash sign.
68 times on Sunday Night Football, but his legs might have made the biggest play of the night.
Mahomes waits,
Thank
takes the
you.
snap.
Goodbye.
Rookie class steps up in the pocket. Moving his right, room to run across the 10. Mahomes to the 5. Breaks the tackle. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Ryan Radke on Westwood won. Mahomes then ran for the tying 2-point conversion with 2:56 left in the fourth. Harrison Butker kicked a 28-yard field goal to start OT. Then the KC defense made one more stop for a 2017 win over the Titans. Tennessee led 17-9 through three quarters. Panthers busy this morning. Two defensive assistants, including D-line coach Paul Pasqualoni, fired after allowing 42 total points and 5 touchdowns to Joe Mixon yesterday. And Sam Darnold's going to be coming off injured reserve, should play later this season. The draw for the championship
Should play later this season. Why? Why should he play later this season?
Bayern, PSG, and Liverpool, Real Madrid. And the Jazz beat the Clippers 110-102, improving to 8-3. I'm Andrew Bird.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your
I think that
clients.
Clemson texter is really getting to Rob, and I don't get it.
It's the highest standard.
Let it go, man.
So, what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients.
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement,
And we still haven't talked Gamecocks yet. I mean, you know,
FisherInvestments.com.
why not?
Why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Fall in South Carolina means using the AC during the day and the heater at night. When your HVAC unit stops working, you need a company you can trust. Priority Heating and Air HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. If you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business comfortable and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Cam's photography this wedding season ramps up in a flash. They need to say I do to a studio assistant before clients go full Bridezilla.
I'm so sorry. I have to get that different lens. I'll be right back.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Gee, I hope Rob comes back.
It's Pro Time, which means at Lowe's, you're invited to enjoy a Lowe's Pro Happy Hour. Kick back with free Coke drinks and Frito-Lay snacks.
If he doesn't come back, I'm just going to slam Clemson for an entire hour.
Select Pepsi products. Come into Lowe's and get the full MVP treatment at Pro Happy Hour on November 17th from 2 to 5 p.m.
Consider yourselves warned.
Kelly Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offers.
I may be playing around with the hashtag all in today, but it's funny. And we both picked Clemson to win that game. So, I mean, I don't think I'll pick them to lose all year. Probably won't pick them to lose the rest of the year. Potatoes. Wow.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
No, what? No, what is going on? Weird. No, it doesn't. Doesn't really. It sucks when your team loses. It does.
Third, the final, the best of money hour. The Rob Brown Show starts right now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, on the other side of the glass, pushing the button, switches, and making the show sound as good as it does today. If you want to be a part of the program, 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-36 63. Or shoot us a text on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. Would love to have you on the show today. Coming up at the end of this segment, we have got a pair of tickets to give away to Friday's Furman basketball game. It is going to be a big one as Furman takes on Belmont. That is on the 11th Friday. Speaking of Furman basketball, you'll be able to listen to Furman basketball tonight as the Dins open up regular season play this evening. The call will be had by the great Dan Scott, and that will take place this evening. Looking forward to getting a little Furman basketball underway, but we've got a pair of tickets for you to win to Friday evening's game. And if you have not been to a Paladin basketball game yet, they are a lot of fun, man. I've hit a couple of those since I got here, and they're a blast. So if you want to win those tickets, stay tuned, because at the end of this segment, we will give away a pair of tickets to Furman's game against Belmont coming up on Friday. Texter said, Rob and Lonzo, who are the best 3 teams in each conference? Who would be the best 6 teams in each conference? I love how you asked for the best 3 and then the best 6 in the same text, but I'm here for it. Best team in the AFC right now is the Kansas City Chiefs after this weekend, right? Like, they were in an overtime game, but they got it done. And while it almost kind of feels like they've gotten to a point where they are a little bit one-dimensional. What did Patrick Mahomes throw the ball like 47 times yesterday?
It was quite a bit, yes.
Threw the ball a lot. They went and they got it done, but it was the Titans that they got it done against. However, that is the AFC South leading Titans. Best teams, top 3 teams in the AFC right now. I'm going to go Chiefs 1. I'm going to go Bills 2. Like, I know the Bills just lost, but they lost to a 6-3 Jets team. That's not a bad team to lose to. The Jets are not your slightly older version of your own self's New York Jets. This team's got something. Robert Saleh might end up being coach of the year. That team looks good. But I'm going to go Bills 2. Because you don't get the number of mistakes out of Josh Allen that you got yesterday traditionally. So Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Dolphins 3. I think 2 of the best 3 teams out of the AFC hilariously come out of the AFC East right now.
All right. The worst thing for us to do is to have the same exact thing.
But
we have the same exact thing.
Yeah.
In that order. I was wondering who you were going to go with 3, and I'm racking my brain trying to think of who would be a better 3 in the AFC, and Miami has the most accurate quarterback in football. So I mean, I cannot leave them on there.
You could take, if I gave you 60 seconds, you could argue me into put a Dolphins 2, Bills 3, right? Because here's the reality: if the Dolphins don't lose Tua for 3 games, the Dolphins are 6-3. Tua Tagovailoa is 6-0. Every other quarterback for the Dolphins is 0-3, right? You could make an argument that the Dolphins should be slotted at number. In fact, you know what? I just made my own argument. I'll slot the Dolphins at 2. I will. With Tua Tagovailoa, that team's undefeated.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take a bad Josh Allen game and move them to 3 because of it.
Man, I can be persuaded with Tua. In fact, I have been. I'll go Chiefs 1, Dolphins 2, Bills 3. After them, I probably slot the Bengals and then the Ravens to round out the top 5.
So you're not going to put Tennessee in there, even though they lost last night? I mean, they're leading their division, and their quarterback's hurt.
I like the Titans. It's a fun team to watch. But every freaking Titans win has been a shootout that should not have been a shootout, right?
Did they blow anybody away last year when they had the number 1 seed? I don't think so.
No, but when you're power ranking teams, like, that's what we do. Now, if the Titans were sitting instead of 5-3 in a bad AFC South. If the Titans were, I don't know, we're 7-1, then yeah, I think you got to put them there, even if they've won every one of those games by a point. They're doing enough to get the job done. But they're 5-3, right? The Chiefs are 6-2. The Bills are 6-2. The Dolphins are 6-3. The Jets are probably right there. But I also know the Jets have had a couple, like the Jets beat the Bills, but they also lost to the Patriots, squeaked by the Broncos. They did lay the hammer down on Aaron Rodgers, which 3 weeks ago we were like, oh, damn. But then the Packers lost to the Lions this weekend, right? The Jets blew out the Dolphins, but again, that was during the Tua-less streak. They beat the Steelers by 4. They got smoked by the Bengals. They beat the Browns by a point. Like, the Jets are right there on the verge of cracking the top 5, but they're just not there yet. Over on the NFC side of things, you're a liar if you put anybody but the Eagles at number 1. I think you got to put the Vikings at number 2. I think you got to put the Cowboys at 3, the Giants at 4, and nobody's number 5. Everybody else is number 10. The NFC has 4 teams and then everybody else.
NFC is pretty bad.
Seattle maybe at 6-3. Like, does Seattle? I'm going to say
Well,
because you
my
got to fill
opinion
out
on
5.
that. Yeah.
Because I got to fill out 5, I'm going to go Eagles, Vikings, Cowboys, Giants, Seahawks. That's my order, top 5.
I am going to, instead of going with Seattle, and put San Francisco in there.
At 4-4? Over
Yeah.
a 6-3
Yeah,
Seattle team?
we'll see like 3 weeks from now.
Right, but we're doing power rankings today.
Yeah, this is personal power rankings, isn't it?
I mean, it is.
I mean, if you want to go by
All right,
record,
fine.
you want to go
That's
standard
fine. Then give me your argument why San Francisco is better than Seattle today.
because of what Christian McCaffrey did last game. Them getting him, I mean, he was there a couple of days and was doing amazing things to the point where people were booing when they took him out. This last game when he had a full week under, and they had a bye yesterday.
Yeah, did not lose this week.
So I think San Francisco's got a good shot of winning the majority of the rest of their games just because of that one piece.
I mean, they blew out the Rams, but the Rams lost an absolute snoozer against Tampa Bay yesterday. Their previous 2 games before that were getting blown out by Kansas City and getting blown out by Atlanta. The last win they had was in Charlotte against the Panthers, which is not all that impressive.
I think that their losses are not nearly. I mean, you're making Seattle wins impressive, and I don't think they're nearly as impressive as San Francisco.
Yeah, but their losses aren't as bad.
Yeah,
either,
one
right?
piece away. We'll find out in 3 or 4
beat
weeks.
Arizona by 10 yesterday.
Yeah, but we know
They
why
blew
that
out
happened.
the Giants by 2 touchdowns.
We all know why Arizona's playing bad.
They blew out the Chargers. They blew out the Cardinals the week before that. They squeaked by the Lions. They lost to the Saints. Those are bad looks, but those were also 4 weeks ago, right? Talking about today's power rankings. I think you got to put a 6-3 Seattle over San Francisco
No.
today.
You've got to. I don't, and I'm not.
No, I didn't say you have to. I said I think you have to. It doesn't mean you're
No,
going to do it.
You said you've got to.
I think so.
No.
Texter said Bills number 1. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. You fell apart yesterday, dude. The Jets are good, but you fell apart yesterday. Even Josh Allen didn't look like Josh Allen. He was just one Josh Allen yesterday. He was 25% of Josh Allen. All right, so there's your answer. We're very similar in the AFC, Lonzo and I. I've got Chiefs 1, Dolphins 2, Bills 3. I'm walking through it again. I'm going to go. I had Ravens Bengals, but I kind of feel like at 6-3, I got to put the Jets in there somewhere, right? Maybe Jets 4, Bengals 5, but the Ravens have lost.
I think
fewer than
I
the
put
Bengals.
Tennessee above the Jets because I trust in Tennessee more than I do the Jets.
As far as power rankings go, like the Titans don't jump off the page. I like Mike Vrabel. I like the Titans. Derrick Henry is that dude that y'all ain't been watching, but you better be. Derrick Henry,
Except
no
for
joke.
yesterday because he didn't really
Well,
do
except
a whole lot yesterday. Yeah.
Up until yesterday, Derrick Henry was that dude that nobody was like, what do you have, like 3 straight 200-yard games?
Yeah, and the excuse the announcers were making last night is that he's tired.
It's got to be. He's been carrying that damn team for 3 weeks. How about the debut of Malik Willis, 5 of 16 and 80 yards? Yeah, Derrick Henry had a down night, Lonzo. He only ran for $115 and 2 touchdowns. What a pathetic showing.
Yeah, I told you he got tired. He's been tired for the last few weeks.
And he's carrying a franchise on his back. Of course he's tired. Patrick Mahomes, 6 carries, 63 and a touch on the ground. On the ground!
It's not that he looks slow. He just doesn't look fast. I don't know how to explain
You're not
it.
going to like this. He's a 2 inches tall version of Kyler Murray when he runs.
No,
is.
no,
He is.
no,
He is.
no, because Kyler Murray runs like the Flintstones when they're driving the car. How fast the feet move underneath.
When Kyler Murray takes off, you hear
Yeah.
as his feet spin.
Yeah, Mahomes doesn't do that. I think he's got his stride is weird and it makes him look slower.
I am putting all right. So let's finalize this thing. All right, let's finalize this thing. I am going Kansas City 1, Dolphins 2, Bills 3, Jets 4, Bengals 5. That's my top 5 in the AFC. Over in the NFC, Eagles 1, Vikings 2, Cowboys 3, Giants 4, Seattle 5. That's my top 5 in the NFC. So there you go, Texter. Mission accomplished. Good job, everybody. We did it. For the record, ordinarily I would power rank them before the show, but I did not do that, and then a texter called me out on it. So that's our go at it on the fly. Let's do this. I've got a lot more things we need to tackle in hour number 3. So before we jump out to the break here in a minute, I have got a pair of tickets to this Friday night's Furman Belmont basketball game for free. It's real simple. I'm going to go caller number 5. Caller number 5 says the great one. Caller number 5 is going to get a pair of tickets to Friday night's Furman versus Belmont game. It is an awesome way to spend a Friday night. If you have not done it yet, I suggest you do, and this is a chance for you to do it for free. Caller number 5 right now to 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. Caller number 5 is going to win a pair of tickets to Friday night's Furman versus Belmont basketball game. You're getting those 2 tickets. It is going to be a great time, and it should be a whale of a basketball game. Furman looks good, man. And if you have not gotten a chance to see Bothwell play in person yet, as he enters his 5th and final year, you're going to want to do that because the kid can ball. Caller number 5 right now to 844-FANFONE, 844-FAN-PHONE is going to win a pair of tickets to Friday night's Furman Belmont game in Timmons Arena on the beautiful campus of Furman University. FU one time. Let's go to break. Rob Lonzo, you, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Looking for caller number 5.
You are the winner. What's your name? Hang on.
Divino.
Personalized touch at Home Trust Bank. Score big with Home Trust Bank. Ready for what's next? Member FDIC.
Why
Equal
is
housing
that?
lender.
Huh.
You might not know this, but
No valid entry.
is actually a
Interesting.
bakery. As in, we bake things, really delicious things. Things like crusty breads, just waiting for that.
Crusty breads. Love crusty breads.
Pair perfectly with that morning cup of coffee. For any occasion.
That's a good description too, James. Like Scooby Doo. This is just the reason why I'm saying Flintstones is when you watch the Flintstones, when you see them in the car, the upper torso, it's like not really doing anything, but the feet underneath is like going crazy, like a duck, I guess.
Good duck.
Yeah, the duck, smooth on the surface, chaotic. I think Patrick Mahomes is more like Trevor Lawrence, how he runs. When Trevor Lawrence runs, it's like that dude is not really moving, but you find out he is moving kind of.
Don't call it a comeback.
Been here for years. Something about suckers and fears. I forget the next line. Oh. Let's not have anything in there. Weird.
What's his name? Mark?
Yes.
It's a long time ago. I'm dumb, Lonzo. Get off.
It's a hard name to remember. It isn't like we don't have like 25 of those around here.
Congratulations to Mark, who just won the 2 tickets to Friday night's Furman v. Belmont game. If you tried and did not win, panic not, friends, because we have got 2 more pairs of tickets to give away throughout the remainder of the week. So make sure you don't miss a moment of the Rob Brown Show and your chance to win free tickets to Furman Paladin athletic events. We got 2 more to give away before Friday's contest. So stay tuned for your chance to win those tickets. All right. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the best team in CFL at the moment. We should do some CFL talk.
Yeah, we should do that.
Let's
can't
all
wait
get
for
into
that.
the CFL together, shall we? I
Saskatchewan still play?
I believe that they do. Saskatchewan, the Rough Riders, if I recall correctly.
I believe so.
Saskatchewan, let's see, Calgary Stampeders.
Does Winnipeg play?
We literally just mentioned them.
What?
They are the Blue Bombers. That was like a second ago.
Bro.
The Edmonton Elks have one of the dopest logos in sports.
By the way, I just expressed how exciting I was for that because I didn't even hear it. Anyway.
The Toronto Argonauts. I know them because they share a team mascot and logo with my University of West Florida Argonauts. Go Argos.
What's an Argonaut? Isn't it like someone like on a boat?
Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, okay. I was making sure.
Yep. Let's see, Montreal Alouettes is a great name. I don't know what is it. I don't know what an Alouette is. I'm assuming it is a I'm not even going to guess.
I just think Gentil Alouette, Gentil Bloomeray, whatever.
That was beautiful. It is an Alouette is a French language children's song or a character in The King of Braves.
So I was right. Because I was singing that song. This Alouette is in that song.
What is an Alouette?
I don't know. It's in a song.
A popular French language children's song commonly thought to be about plucking the feathers from a lark.
A lark is a bird.
Got it. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. South Carolina taking on Vanderbilt on Saturday night was interesting.
Like when you're driving home and you're driving a stick shift and you get like close to home and you decide, I wonder if I could take my foot off the gas and just keep the clutch in and just kind of coast right on. And each day you get a little bit further back just to see how close you can get, just because it's fun. It's in your neighborhood. You're the only one coming home at that time of night. That's what the Gamecocks did Saturday.
Kind of did. Spencer looked better, right? 16 of 23, $186, 3 touchdowns.
He did, and
Two of his touchdowns were really
there
nice.
was this guy that was on the field that everyone complained about not being on the field, and he was on the field, and he touched the ball like a bunch.
16 carries, 56 yards for Jaheim Bell. Also tacked on 3 catches for 27 yards.
See, if he'd have listened to you and transferred out, he wouldn't have had such a great game.
Yeah, you know what that was?
That and Marshawn Lloyd was hurt.
You ever been in a situation before where, like, you did something dumb and your better half is upset at you? And when you get home, it's like after work, they're not home yet. And you just do everything you can think of. Like, let me take out the trash. Let me wipe down the kitchen counters. Let me put the dishes away. Let me go ahead and make up the bed the way they like it. Let me change the sheets while I'm at it. Oh, they got laundry in the dryer. Let me go ahead and fold that laundry. You just do everything you can do around the house. So when they get home, it's like you're like trying to earn the brownie points because you know you screwed up, right? You know you screwed up. You done ticked them off and they told you about it and you're like, oh yeah, that was a bad move by me. So you go ahead and you just deep clean the house before they get home from work so that it's like, I know that you're still mad about the dumb thing I did. And I respect that. And I appreciate you're mad at the dumb thing I did, but I did all the other things. So like, maybe we can equal it out to just like mildly upset. That's what happened here. That's why Jaheim got 16 runs and 9 targets in that game.
That, and also they were winning the game so that they were able to expand the, work some more people in. Because we've heard that the opposite of that so many times this year.
It's such a tight game that the personnel groupings didn't allow us to put our most aggressively physical player on the field. My bad. Sat and Shano recognized they done ticked off Jaheim Bell and his fam. So they're like, we'll go ahead and give him 40 touches in this game. That'll work.
You happy now? Huh? You happy?
That he ran the ball 16 times?
No,
Yes.
I was saying that's what he's saying.
Oh, no. For the record, I was in Team Bell on this one.
Okay. All right.
Yes. I was in Team Bell on this one. I was watching this one with the lady friend, and after touch number 8, I'm like, yes. Here's the other metaphor.
Couldn't Marshawn Lloyd have done all those things?
I mean, yes, and if Marshawn was available, Jaheim Bell probably rushes the ball 8 times instead of 16, but he probably picks up more targets in the pass game too, right? Because the thing is, if you got 0 lined up in the backfield, you don't have them lined up as a tight end / slot out. Right? I mean, that one is what it is because of the contusion to Marshawn. But yes, that one felt to me like Shane and Marcus Satterfield were like, we better do right by this kid, right? We don't want to lose him. We better do right by this kid. We might need him later. But here's the thing, if I may continue on with my bad relationships analogy path. It would be like you ticked off your partner, so you take the trash out. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of a thing you should just do, right? You don't get brownie points for doing the things you're supposed to do. That's just what you're supposed to do. Hey, boss, I know you're mad at me, so I came into work on time today. Yeah, no, that's what you're supposed to do.
I don't know. There's some people that might actually work.
That's fair. But you get the point. Right? If you screw the pooch, you're not getting out of the doghouse by just doing what you're supposed to do. Jaheim Bell should be getting the ball 20 times a game. He is a game changer. He is a playmaker. But you got him the ball. Gamecocks were up, 28-14 or 27-14 at the half. It looked like they were en route to a cruise control victory. They put up another 7 in the third, but Vantages would not go away. Carolina put up 17 in the first quarter, 14 in the second, and then for whatever reason in the second half, they just slowed down dramatically, right? And I don't know. It didn't feel to me, Lonzo, like Carolina hit a point where they're like, okay, cruise control, right? Like, we're good. We got this. It just felt to me like Vanderbilt just wouldn't go away, and Carolina got to the point where they were like, let's just do our thing. They went to Dak Joyner for a little while, 3 of 4 for 82 and a touch.
So it's a good throw too.
Couple of good throws.
Yeah.
Couple of good throws. But Spence's 3 TDs, 2 of those touchdowns were remarkably good throws. Like 2 of those 3 touchdowns, though, I looked at Courtney and I'm like, that's the guy y'all transferred in. That's the dude y'all expected to show up.
Yeah, but that guy shows up when they're playing inferior talent.
Correct.
That guy needs to show up when you're playing someone of equal or better talent.
Correct.
And he doesn't.
Where was that guy against Missouri? Right? Where was that guy against Arkansas earlier in the year? Where was that guy? I'm going to tell you right now. You got 5 days. You're in the swamp at Florida. Now, for the record, before the Gator fans start feeling themselves a little bit, you beat a Texas A&M team that is bad at a house that is not impressive. Appalachian State won there. And A&M was missing how many starters from that game? 10 across both sides of the ball. It was a good Florida win. It was a good Gator win over A&M. But let's not pretend that the 41-24 win was against the Aggies we thought they were going to be. They are against the Aggies that they are. That being said, Florida was clicking in that game. Yes, it was against inferior talent and a busted up Texas A&M Aggies football team who are now 3-6 and 1-5 in conference. But
they're making a lot of money, or the kids are. So that's all that matters.
yeah, you're about to get a really interesting social experiment. Is the money the thing when the team's 3-6, right? Can Texas A&M hold this recruiting class together under the guise of a really lucrative NIL class when the team is 1-5 in the SEC, when the team is 3-6 overall? This was a team that Des Bryant had in the playoffs this year. They're 3-6. You are about to get a lesson. We are all, by the way, and when I say you, I'm including myself in that, right? We are all about to get a lesson in how important NIL deals are in the land of college football recruiting. Because if you're going to be an Aggie, you now have to look at this and go, yeah. You got that cash, homie, but we're 3-6. We're 3-6. By the way, 3-6 and not a whole heck of a lot of optimism laid out ahead of them. I mean, they got Auburn, who was in a dogfight with Mississippi State this weekend. And you got LSU. Wait, oh, God. You got LSU at the end of the year. Granted, it's in your house, but your house hadn't been a daggum thing so far this year if you're an Aggie, right? LSU minus what, Zoe? 14.5 right now? What? How many points I got to give you to take Texas A&M against LSU? 14.5?
No, I'm not in that. I'm going to keep my money.
Yeah. Florida ran for 291 yards against the Aggies. 291 on the ground for Florida. Hey, what did Vanderbilt do to make SC uncomfortable? Ran it at them, right? They ran it at them.
Still, out of the games that the Gamecocks have left, the most winnable game
Is Florida.
That's
a fact. Here's the good news for USC. The good news for USC is that you're bowl eligible. You've hit the mark, right? What was the mark preseason? 6-6. Get bowl eligible. Mission accomplished. But you got Florida this weekend, who looks better. Not good, but better. Who put 291 up. And again, keep in mind, A&M was missing like 6 or 7 starters on defense. Okay.
All right. According to Adam Schefter, Frank Reich is out as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
Wow.
That's only one source so far, but it is Schefter, which means
Shefty's a good one.
Comes directly from the NFL. So
you know it's true.
Yeah.
Shefty's a good one.
Yeah, Pelissaro is also saying the same thing.
All right. So Frank Reich's out at Indy, which is no shock. 40-33 as the head coach. He's been there since 2018 after Josh McDaniels left. And there you go. Reported about a minute ago.
What is breaking news brought to you by?
By our friends at BetQL. Be a better, be smarter, beat the books with our friends at BetQL. And by the way, get the BetQL app because tonight during that Saints game against the Ravens on Monday Night Football, I will be hosting a live chat during that game on the BetQL app. So if you get the BetQL app, you log into the NFL section, not only are you going to get an incredible gambling guide if you are down to put some coin on ball, but you can also log in. They host chats during the games. They're old school, right? They're like old school AOL chat rooms. You get a screen name and you log in. It's all text, right? And they do these during all the big games. Well, during MNF, they have asked your boy to hold down the chat duties during the Saints-Ravens game tonight. So grab the BetQL app, get all the gambling advice that you need if you're into that sort of thing, and follow along with that stream chat this evening as the Saints host the Ravens in a little Monday Night Football. Worry not, Carolina Panthers. You are not the only NFL team in tank mode now. The Colts have done it as well. We'll come back with that here in just a minute. To wrap up the South Carolina thing, you got the Orange Crush laid out ahead of you. You're at Florida. You're on the road against Tennessee, and you think Tennessee's bad now. Tennessee knows now because they can't win the SEC East anymore. If they want any crack at bartering their way into the college football playoffs, they need to win every game by about 60. You're going to get the Orange Crush from Tennessee, and then you're at Clemson to wrap it up. And yes, Notre Dame beat Clemson. South Carolina fans, you aren't Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame had some growing pains early. You ain't Notre Dame. If you want 7, Florida's the only chance.
No, I agree there, but so you're saying 100% without a doubt there's no way the Gamecocks could beat Clemson.
Gamecocks minus 13.5 right now if I'm setting the line. You are a double-digit dog at Clemson right now.
What if they beat Florida?
9.5.
What if they only lose by like 25 to Tennessee?
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm shocked.
All right.
Nothing.
All right. We'll see.
Because the other thing is, I'm saying what Tennessee needs to do, not what they will do. I don't know. Tennessee might break mentally, right? They don't have that target of playoffs at the end of the year. They might break mentally after getting doghoused by Georgia.
They made it to the top, and maybe they didn't know how to handle it yet.
Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, right now, Florida is going to be. I don't even know what's the line going to be on South Carolina at Florida. Let me pull that. What's that line at on a Monday morning? Guess that line. What's the line, Zoe? I go even money.
12.
12? South Carolina by 12?
No, Florida.
Florida by 12.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big number. All right, let me see if I can get that line found out.
As we know, I don't know what I'm doing about this stuff, so you know.
All right, let's see. I'm scrolling down through the lines right now. A lot of good lines this weekend.
It's so far down. You can't just type in.
Tennessee's favored by 21 over Mizzou right now. LSU's only favored by 3. How is LSU favored by 3 over? Y'all want some free money? LSU is minus 3 against Arkansas right now. Arkansas lost to Liberty. LSU beat Bama, and LSU's a 3, not 3 and a hook, not 3.5, just 3-point favorite over Arkansas. Y'all want some free money? There's your free money right there. LSU minus 3 over Arkansas. 15-star lock of the century of the week. Are you kidding me? What a garbage pick that is. That's free. That's free money, dude. Sorry, I'm still looking for the South Carolina line. Zoe, you actually weren't as far off as I thought. Florida's minus 8 over South Carolina right now. You weren't as far. I would have thought it was going to be like minus 6. Gators minus 6. They're minus 8. Touchdown plus. Ouch. That's bad, man. Texas said the kid doing the touchdown push-ups at College Station is suffering muscle atrophy. Texter said, Gamecock should have taken notes from the Bengals. All gas, no brakes. Yeah, no, you should have never let up. I'm not even saying South Carolina let up. I don't know if that's the thing, right? Like, A lot of games, though, you can kind of pick the point and go, it was here that this team let up. They let off the gas here. It was such a large lead. They let off. I don't know if South Carolina let off the gas or just kind of lost the momentum a little bit, right? I really don't know.
I think it's more of a somewhere in the second half. It just seemed like they went back to old tendencies.
The kind of yes.
So they lost some intensity. But you're right. I can't pinpoint exactly where it was, and it wasn't.
You can't pinpoint that they did.
Yeah, and it wasn't like Vandy just suddenly just started. They slowly and methodically started getting back into the game. Not really, but at least score wise.
Yeah, it's just like the guy. I mean, they still went out there. They scored points in the second half, right? They scored points in the second half.
If you're someone like, say, a fan of a team that's a rival, you will look at the final score and say, "See, man, they struggle with that."
But it's not wrong. It shouldn't have been that close.
Without watching the game,
it should not have been that close, right? You let them back to within a score before you put them away.
Agreed. But
should have never happened.
But you got your 6th win. You're bowl eligible.
It's kind of interesting because the goal preseason was 6-6, right? The goal preseason was 6-6, bowl eligibility. My projections preseason were 6-6, bowl eligible is the only anything less than bowl eligibility is unacceptable. 7-5 is a possibility. 8-4 is a vastly improbable possibility, right? It's possible, but improbable that they get to 8. And then after a little while, like after the Kentucky and A&M wins, you're like, hey, maybe 8 is a little more probable than we thought, and 7 is realistic, right? But you gave away the chance at 7 when you blew it to Missouri. And you call it whatever you want. You blew it against Mizzou. What's the Gamecocks record if they beat Mizzou? They're 7-5 with 3 to play. Excuse me. They're 3. With 3 to play. They're a 7-win team if they beat Mizzou. But you're bowl eligible. That was the goal, right? That was it. That was the goal. You got there. You won 7. 7 would be a nice upgrade. 7 would be a good step. But you're 8-point dogs against Florida. Why is that? Because you stunk it up against Mizzou, and because you either let off the gas against Vandy, or Vandy was good enough to stage a comeback. Neither of those is good, right? Neither of those is good. So Gamecock fans, how you feel today? A win's a win. You want to celebrate a dub. You're bowl eligible. The end of the day, you have now hit the preseason expectations, and you have done it with 3 games left in the schedule. But it's not a 3-game stretch. I would have rather the 3-game stretch be like Ole Miss, Vandy, and Mizzou as opposed to the Orange Crush. 8-point. You're an 8-point dog to Florida. What are you an 8-point dog when you're setting up against Tennessee? 14.5-point dog to Tennessee? 17-point dog to Tennessee? It's not a great look. And then Clemson. If you're an 8.5-point dog to Florida at Florida, you're a 10.5-point dog to Clemson at Clemson.
We don't know that for sure. We still got a couple weeks left to play.
No, that's me setting lines, but I'm
things could be going really bad one place and really good another. So
we'll see. I mean, there's 3 weeks left till we get there. I am saying, however, that I'm pretty good at this stuff.
Hey, what do those shows who only talk college football do when college football is over?
I don't know, but we got the NFL.
We do.
So that's good news. All right. Let's take our final break of the day. You want your thoughts heard on the air? Now's the time to get them there. Do it by texting in to 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. Come back, wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
Basketball regular season gets underway tonight with non-conference action. North Carolina, the #1 team in the nation to start the season. They're home tonight against UNC Wilmington. Duke is the #7 team in the nation. They'll host Jacksonville tonight. #18 Virginia plays host to NC Central tonight. The Clemson Tigers home tonight against Citadel. South Carolina Upstate opens up at home tonight against Brevard. NC State plays host to Austin Peay. Wake Forest at home against Fairfield. Tomorrow night, South Carolina is home against South Carolina State.
Oh, Boo Box Bets. That's right. Forgot about that.
Falcons and the Panthers, they'll play Thursday night in Charlotte. On Sunday, the Bengals beat the Panthers 42-21, while the Falcons fell 20-17 against the Chargers. NBA tonight, the Hornets host the Wizards. Charlotte's 3-7. They've lost 4 in a row. The Hawks have won 2 straight. They're home tonight against Milwaukee. Catch Furman Paladins football all season long on the Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Chris Rose to the NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Patrick Mahomes, 446 yards in the score, added another on the ground as the Chiefs rallied for a 20-17 overtime win over the Titans on Sunday Night Football. Joe Mixon, 5 total touchdowns as the Bengals.
Sorry, James. I got tired of saying #haul in. You know, plus it didn't work when we're talking about other stuff.
For all your printing needs this holiday, Staples has you covered.
I need custom printed holiday cards for my one-of-a-kind business.
Staples has you covered. It's beginning to look a lot like I Need Custom Party.
So I made that mistake, but it's due to rain of not doing leaves this weekend. And it's a sea of leaves out there.
You
and
can't
it's
see our yard.
Yeah, you can't see mine either. And, you know, in the end, no one can see my yard but me and a couple other people because no one comes back there. But there's also a thing that we don't know what's underneath those leaves, which is the main reason why I picked those leaves up. But it rains so much they're too wet, and my thing that I use to pick the leaves up, it will like skid. So it's like the wheels won't turn.
Yeah.
And so you spend more time off the mower trying to fix that. Okay, Trey, I'm sorry I read that.
Bravo, young man. Bravo.
That's like when you click on something and it goes somewhere that you didn't think it was like, whoa, what is no? It's pretty humid outside, isn't it? I think that might be my problem right now, but I may have to do something you don't want me to do. I may have to take a shoe off.
Please don't. Please go in. Like no.
No, because my foot is swelling up so bad in my right shoe that while I'm at least going to have to untie it. Yeah, James, I was watching it like Saturday, watching them fall like rain. So many leaves. They have so many different trees. So it's very colorful and also annoying. You used to have a workforce that would help me, but then the kids moved away.
I was gonna say no, you didn't. You had kids who would help you.
Then they moved away. It was hard to motivate them anyway.
I mean,
Why are we doing this?
You just pay them to do it, you know?
With what?
You're like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Room and board? Yeah.
All right, wrapping up the show. And, I almost forgot before Texter reminded me. Got to take a look at our Boo Box Bets results from the weekend.
Sadists. People just want to hear about pain of somebody. You all know who lost. And I didn't say y'all. I said you all.
Y'all. Florida, Texas A&M. A&M was -3.5. That was, of course, before the news that A&M was missing 900 scholarship players off their roster. It doesn't matter. We both picked A&M at -3.5. The end result, Florida absolutely trounced the Aggies, 41-24. That's 0-1 for both. Tennessee and Georgia. Both of us thought that Georgia might win this game, but that Tennessee would keep it close. They did not. Spoiler alert. Tennessee 13, Georgia 27. The Dogs were 8.5-point favorites, and they blew that up out the water. We both had the Volunteers. We both go 0-2. Clemson, -3.5 at Notre Dame. Your final score, the Irish upset the Tigers, 35-14. We both had Clemson in that one, and we both taken L-0-3.
Wow, we're not doing good so far.
Bad start. South Carolina at Vandy. South Carolina -7. We got the sweats in that one late because it looked like Vandy was going to climb back into that thing, but the Gamecocks tack one on late. They go up by 11. They would finish it -11 at 38-27. We both have the Gamecocks. We both get a win. That is 1-3 on the day. The only game we differed in college football was Alabama at LSU. The Crimson Tide were 13.5-point favorites in this one, and they lost outright. LSU claims the 32-31 OT win after Brian Kelly and his family go get the 2-point conversion outright in OT to get the dub. Rob took LSU plus 13.5. They get the outright win. So Rob finishes college football at 2-3. Lonzo finishes college ball at 1-4. To the NFL we go. Las Vegas was -1.5 at Jacksonville. We both took the Jags. The Jags win outright 27-20. We are 1-0 in NFL. Buffalo was -11 at the New York Jets. I should have seen this one coming, but I fell for Josh Allen into his baby blue eyes. The Jets went outright 2017. 22-17. We both had Buffalo 1-1. The Rams at Tampa Bay. We both had the Bucks -1.5. They win outright. The Rams were the pick of both of us. Yikes. We both had the Chargers -3 at Atlanta. -3.5 at Atlanta. And they won by 3. So we lost by the hook on that one. We won by the hook on Tampa. Carolina and Cincinnati, we both took the Panthers at +7. Whoops. So it ends. Rob goes 2-3 in college, 2-3 in pro for 4-6. Lonzo goes 1-4 in college, 2-3 in pros, 3-7 by a single game. The only game that mattered was LSU Bama. Rob escapes going back-to-back L's, and Lonzo will come for the Boo Box on tomorrow's show.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
Hey, man, I don't care. That thing's out of my box. So I'm good. By the way, you guys need to send some more punishments because I only have like 3 or 4 in there, and it's not enough. So it needs to be oversaturated like Rob's was so I could get something equally as lame as what Rob did. Just say it. So the first thing that's trending is
Baker is, I'm going to go ahead and take
it. That kind of hurt.
It's been a minute. We had to stretch the old larynx out. Baker Mayfield came in relief of PJ this past weekend and shockingly did a much better job than PJ did this weekend. So the thought is going to be that Baker Mayfield will be your starter in the Thursday evening game when Carolina hosts Atlanta in an NFC South divisional rivalry. I'm leaning towards going to that, right? I don't know yet. I don't know for sure, but I think I lean towards going to that game to see Baker play.
We shall see if he does or not, but we're going to see Baker play either way. The next thing is trending is Bill Simmons.
I got nothing. Why is Bill Simmons trending?
Because Bill Simmons says that AD is available for trade.
Really?
That's what he says. And then so a bunch of people are going, Bill Simmons doesn't know whatever.
LeBron, after the Lakers lost again, got asked, kind of where are you guys? How are you as a team? And LeBron dropped the all-pro sales. We are who our record says we are.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they stink. They stink. Why not, right? Here's the problem. You still don't have a first-round pick next year because it belongs to the New Orleans Pelicans, right? For the record, as a Pelicans fan, please trade AD. Trade AD, trade LeBron, trade them all, trade everybody. Just trade the whole team. The LA Lakers should be the janitorial crew and the Lakers girls playing the
All
field.
right, let's trade Anthony Davis for Zion Williamson.
They're going to try. Hey, New Orleans, y'all liked AD, right? Y'all like that guy. You want him back? You want him back? Zion can't win in New Orleans. Do you want Anthony Davis back? I'm telling you, it's going to hit. Some jackass with a hot take machine is going to drop. The Lakers should trade AD to New Orleans for Zion because you can't win in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Shut up.
I just did that.
Yeah, but you were doing it to get at me.
Yes, I was.
Some smartass on Twitter is going to drop that like he's the most brilliant wannabe GM in the world. And just as a heads up, I will be coming for blood when that inevitably happens. Jim Rome's up next in the jungle. Mark and Diesel got you offsides at 3. Be interested to hear what they have to say about that loss to ND. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, guys. Thank y'all very much.